Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Like some wide receivers, if the ball's going completely opposite your direction, they don't even really try that hard. I mean, they'll run down Lummy, maybe try to get a block in.
Yeah.
But Evans is running like full-blown routes, like, trying to keep the corner, glued to him as if there could be a pass. Evans doesn't take a play off.
He's a competitor.
He is.
He wants to win.
Is he the greatest Buccaneer wide receiver of all time?
Yes.
Yeah, greatest offensive player in the franchise history.
Who comes in second?
Alvin Harper.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
Wait for it. Just wait for it. Just like Braveheart. Hold. Getting stuff ready. Hold. I got Seth on, Macho Man on, Rhett's on, Alexa is on. We're down one soldier today. Hold on here. There we go. Let me see. Damn it.
Is it all falling apart because Lummy's not here?
No, it just takes me a while because we were talking. By the way, the Bubba the Love Sponge show, Tuesday, September 11th, 2024, because we were talking about stuff, way up until I kind of what time it was got away from me a little bit. And me and Dan were talking about this potential Christmas contest we do involving men, involving about 90%. I think we're about 15 to 85-15 on the makeup of the program. I think. Does in your podcasting world, Seth, does it break it down? Gender, city. I know city and state it does. I don't know that it does necessarily gender.
Yeah, it does.
With your stats.
It does gender, but we have officially 18 genders that listen to the show, Bubba, so it's really hard for me to crunch all those numbers.
You mean 18 different types?
18 different types of genders, yeah.
Oh, my God, with the fluidity.
Yeah.
It's like a dimmer switch. You can't...
So I'm not even a man anymore. I need to...
True biological men, we are 10th with in the podcasting world.
Really?
Yeah.
Just men that got penises that think they're men?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, women with penises that are trying to become a full-on man, we're number one with them.
Okay, hold on. We're number one with women with penises that are trying to become a man?
Yeah, full-on man. We're number one with them. I'll get to the rest of the numbers by the end of the show.
Should I call the people that sell the advertising on podcasting and say, you got it all wrong? Let me tell you the audience you need to really, really go after, because we've broke it down in our little statistically, and you need to get a hold of clients that are actually trying to advertise to women with penises that think that are trying to become a man.
Could you imagine if we went into a meeting, we go, we have 8 different sexes that listen to the show. Yeah. I mean, how could you guys go wrong advertising with us?
I mean, like we know a lot of radio stations and content providers and advertising agencies and stuff like that roll up in here with big presentations, but we're running 9 genders deep, okay? I mean,
If anybody else has that, let us know, but we're pretty sure we're the only ones.
Yeah, we think we're number one in the world with gender fluidity. Actually, we probably are not. We're probably we're kind of just a dude show, are we not? Or listen, there's only there's more than, I think, because you have to include the haters. So, we got like real men like Buck and Iggy and Big Red and Creatine Travis and the Nash brothers. At least one of the Nash brothers works hard. Guys like that.
Are they that different?
What's that?
Are they that different?
Oh yeah, way
They're
different.
so different, but they're still so the same.
I
mean,
mean,
they
they're
look-
so similar to me, but I don't know their work.
I think when
ethics.
they're
Well,
when they're
one of
hanging
them-
out and having fun, they're the same.
Yeah.
Oh no, hold on. After they work their job, whatever their job is,
They're like the bushwhackers.
they are very similar as far as I don't think I've met two dudes. I don't think I've met one dude that literally can party as hard as they can. I mean,
And go 2 days straight, right?
oh, yeah.
As many as it takes.
As many as it takes. One time they were at Bubba Raceway Park and they really party hard during the month of February when we have our Winter Nationals program. They come and they've bought a brand new pop-up camper. They had this one camper for 10 years and it literally was like, they could barely get it to the track. It was just so dilapidated, and they had dead spots in the floor. And I mean, it was so bad that I think when they traded it in, the camper place gave them like $100 for it. Like whatever the scrap value of the axles and the frame is what they got. So, but they party so hard that one time I roll out there. I was out there till about midnight with them, and they're partying, getting high, just partying, they do all kinds of stuff. So I had to be up early the next morning, like around 6 or 7, right before sunrise. And so I was like, you know what? I bet you they're all passed out back there because the Nash compound is quite far from it's clear. It's at the furthest point of my back property, like right against the wood line by the railroad track. So, it's quite a ways. I'd say it's probably half mile, maybe.
That's a half mile.
Yeah, half mile to, just the front pit gate. So I drove my four-wheeler back there and I get almost to where their campsite is. And there are both of them and they're in lawn chairs, not lawn chairs where you, like your lake, but like just sit up lawn, like regular lawn chairs, the kind you sit on, not the kind you recline on, but just the kind
Not like
you
a
sit.
beach chair, but like literally like a lawn chair to watch like a kid's football game.
Yeah, exactly. And they're both sitting there in the middle of the field. Nobody's around them. In the middle of the field, and they're just sitting there, and they're looking dead east, and they're watching the sun come up over the horizon, and I'm like,
It's so romantic.
I'm like, guys, what's going on? They're like, man, we haven't been to bed, and we took some acid last night, and now the sun's coming up, and it feels like it's a big monster eating our faces. I'm like, okay, listen, I gotta.
Is acid a hard drug?
I don't know. I think there's different forms of it.
It feels like it is to me.
But they had done acid and mushrooms the night before. They had got on their mini bikes and drove around the little go-kart track, which is, like I've never really finished it. It's not really. It has the remnants of a track, but it's all got all kinds of rocks in it and stuff like we've never raced on it. In fact, I'm in the process of taking it down. I'm going to be up there this weekend. That's one of my projects. But they took their mini bikes out the night before. No lights. Now, there's no lights back there either. Like, there's the rest of my property at Bubba Raceway Park or Ocala Speedway. It's got lights.
So it's just like lit by the stars?
Yeah, it's just lit by the stars. So they're out running their go-karts like at 2 or 3 in the morning thinking they're flat trackers. Well, one of them falls off, goes head first, and has this big gash on their forehead.
Oh no!
And it's the blood is now dried, and now they're sitting on lawn chairs on acid, watching the moon. I'm sorry, watching the sun come up, and they said melting into their faces like a monster.
That's what it's all about, Bubba. How come we're not doing an expose on the Nash brothers and how they like to hang out during the late model series or whatever's going on out there?
You know what? I think I need to incorporate that. I really do. Last night, yesterday during the after show, I discussed how I'm gonna, I wouldn't say stop being lazy, but I'm going to try to maybe turn it up a notch with regards to giving visual content on just stuff that I get into, including yesterday. It was like 5 o'clock. I'm at the apartment. I'm like, Merch Crick, we need to run over to this studio real fast. I just had this big ass podcast today talking about, when I work out, I should go live and things like that. And she's like, but it's 5 o'clock. And I'm like, yeah, but I can go get an abbreviated workout. I could do like maybe, 3 sets of chest, some abs.
5 p.m.?
Yes. So I did like 3 sets of chest, 3 sets of quads, 3 sets of abs, and three sets of space, that big leg machine that I call it the space shuttle that you push forward, and then 3 sets of shoulder shrugs, all live on YouTube last night.
You're looking pretty shredded today, I can tell.
Thank you very much. I got a haircut yesterday too.
Yeah, your hair. I was about to say your hair looks really nice.
Yeah.
Just a total package here.
Yeah, it does.
sexy.
Thank you very much. Dan, I still got to have you take that thing off my forehead.
The thing that's staring at me and talking to me?
Yeah, because I look like I might be from Indian descent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone was drunk when they put it on.
I mean, I don't.
That's a Nash thought.
I don't know what it is. And I got one on the side of my nose too, which is even a little bit bigger. So I don't know if it's skin cancer or what. But
well, if we take it off early, it won't be skin cancer. It'll just be pre-cancer if it's anything.
Yeah,
or
it's
just nothing.
But it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been 3, 4, 5 years. So
I'll take it off.
Yeah. Now what does that involve?
That involves numbing it up with about 1 cc of lidocaine with epinephrine.
Okay. Now both my nose and my forehead.
Yeah, about 1 cc each.
All right.
And then I draw like a little ellipse around it. Ellipse.
Like
it looks like an eye opening.
Okay. All right.
Pinched corners and it's an oval in the middle.
And you
and I excise it, then I close it with a couple stitches.
Does it smell like burning hair when you're taking it off?
If you cauterize, yeah, but usually in the office I don't have to cauterize.
Okay.
I don't tackle things that big. But yeah, when you cauterize, it smells like just you're cooking.
But hold on, when you cauterize, you don't have near the success rate on getting it to not look like a cauterization. Whereas if you have it cut out, I think you with the best hand in the West, the steadiest hand in the West. As far as being a suture, you are. I mean, are you not noted for really, really being a good suture? What do you say? Call as a suturer?
You could say suturer or a closer.
I mean, are you?
I'm like a closer.
Right. Like if
Mariano Rivera.
Like if Halpern was to say, "Hey, Dave, next to you, who's the best suturer?" What do you say? Oh man, Dan by far.
He'd probably say me.
And you would probably say him.
Yeah, he's great.
If you needed suture,
I did, and he did. So he's a guy I trust.
How does doctor to doctor phone call? I need your help. I got hurt. Go. How does it go?
Well, today Lumpy's getting operated on by Dr. Tom Green for his carpal tunnel,
and that's your friend.
He's a friend of mine. And one time I was in the back of my yard, and the long guys had just left, and there was this giant weed. It was like 5 feet tall. And it was just sticking there. It looked like a small tree. And
Does it look like something they forgot?
I guess they just thought it was. I guess they thought it belonged there. You know what I mean? It was that. Yeah. It was that well established of a weed.
It was such an egregious weed that they thought it might be a potential bush or something.
Yeah, they left it there. Purposefully left it there, thinking it was supposed to be there.
I don't want to skip ahead, but I hope this weed didn't kick your ass, Dr. Dan.
Well,
he grabbed a hold of it and probably had It probably had thorns on it, and he probably yoked up his hands. Is that what happened or no?
That's better than that. So a patient of mine, sometimes they give me interesting gifts, and he gave me this folding buck knife that literally is 2+ feet long, folded. It's like a cartoon knife. It's so big.
Right. It's like
and you open it up, it's like a sword.
Like a swashbuckler sword, kind of.
It's giant. But it's a buck knife. I mean, it was literally like a folding knife with a giant, maybe like, without exaggeration, like a 16-inch blade.
Yeah, and so you decided to take your happy ass out there
and thought I was
be Johnny Weed Cutter Downer.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I have my little machete, and I'm chopping the weed down, and I'm being very careful not to chop into my thigh or something like that. And I have one chop left, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to hurt myself, so I'm going to even choke down on the knife a little more. And
your hand slid. And it went down on the knife.
Nope. It hit the safety. The lock.
Oh, my God.
The lock?
Yes.
And it guillotined my finger.
Oh, my God. Dan, you're lucky you didn't cut your fingers off.
I'm lucky it did not just do an amputation. Yes, it swung down 180 degrees and closed on my hand.
You'd be Johnny Right-Hand Nub Boy.
Yeah, I would be.
He would not be Nub Boy. He would get a half a finger put on.
I'm going to tell you right now. If Dan lost his fingers... I don't know if
He'd
that
flee?
would. I don't know if that wouldn't be the closing of Diaco Plastic Surgery Institution USA.
Oh, yeah.
And he might just be a lawyer now.
I'd be the one-handed lawyer.
I mean, I'm just saying, like I like for real.
Yes, I would be. I'd be a lawyer with 7 fingers.
What do you mean? Like you get a fingertip off and it's over?
Not a fingertip, but if he lost 4 across the sword,
Or 3,
Well, sure.
the 3 that I was holding with. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it
and
really it got my middle finger.
and especially your thumb.
But
Right.
wouldn't it be just the beginning for?
Isn't your thumb kind of like the most important?
Oh yeah, just like
Because,
your big toe is.
like your thumb is like it's your pincher. It adds stability to whatever you're doing.
It's what separates us from other mammals. It's critical
your
in being
thumb,
a human.
You can wrap. You can wrap it around things. It's kind of like the safety mechanism of your hand. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's critical. It's the only way you can really grasp.
All right, so you're out
things.
there.
So it closes onto my index finger, and it goes down to the bone, and the last knuckle of my index finger does not work, and so my finger is just dangling off the end of it.
Oh,
And I
when
can't lift
was
it.
this?
This was about 15, 18 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, F. I just completely screwed myself. I knew exactly what I had done. And I wrapped it up, and I immediately get in the car before I even make a phone call, and I call Tom Green. I'm like, Tom, it's Dan. I just closed a giant knife on my finger, and I hit my extensor tendon. I said, I'm heading to you. He goes, this is like 4 in the afternoon. He goes, okay, well, I'll see you in a minute. And so I get there about 20 minutes later. And he immediately repairs it.
Is he ready for it?
He's ready. He's got everything set up. He repairs it, puts me in a splint, and it healed wonderfully. And I have absolutely no problem whatsoever.
And I got to think doctor to doctor, like you don't get a bill for that.
Oh, no, I never saw anything.
No, but I hope the hell you did some. I hope to hell that guy had a $500 gift certificate at Ocean Prime or something.
Yeah, I took care of him, and I send him patients all the time, like Lummy, for instance.
No, I
You know what
understand that,
He's one of my angels.
I know him and Halprin.
Yeah, they're 2 angels for me. So
All right, so Dan and I were discussing about doing a contest, and I don't want to mention it yet what we're going to do, but we're thinking about doing a contest, and if we do it, it's going to be for the men of the show, and again, I think this originated back with what our gender makeup was of our program, and if we were not to juice it down 9 different ways, but just to be intellectually honest, we're about, I think, the things that I look at, the stats that I look at, YouTube, Facebook, and other, it looks like we skew about 85, 15, 90, 10 men. And Seth, without the 9 additional gender breakdowns, just straight man, woman, what does your podcast skew?
It doesn't break it down.
Oh,
into sex, no.
doesn't. Okay.
No, but Instagram is at 90% male.
Yeah, so
that helps you.
That goes right along the lines of that's about what we are. I've seen there are some things where we're 15% female, but most of the time we're 10% female. So that means worst case scenario is our audience is 85% men, and so we're going to do a contest that I think we're going to do a contest. Of course, these ideas are going to have to go. Here's kind of what I'm thinking, Dan. It goes immediately to Steve, and then Steve will somewhat research it. You'll continue to tell him it's the greatest idea ever. Stop overthinking things. It'll kick over to Jay. Jay will maybe write some type of, document that we may have to have people sign, or something like that. And then it'll kick back to you. It'll kick back to me, and then we'll do the contest
with a little Tom Breen spice on top.
Yeah, Tom will be in there.
He'll make sure there's the T's are crossed.
Tom will probably be on the Steve side of things.
Right.
That's when Steve will call Tom. They talk a lot. Steve will call Tom, and Tom will be like, yeah, I think Tom like is my guy. So he's not protecting, but just making sure it's legal in my
on your
world.
side. Yeah, exactly. It's a different perspective.
Steve's making it legal on Dan's side. I'm making it legal on my side with the Beaner. And Tom, I should probably say Tom Beaner. That could be a little bit of a
ambiguity.
I don't think you're supposed to say Beaner.
No. But unless you're talking about Tom Beaner.
If I'm talking about Tom Bean, a white man from Maine, I think I can say Beaner.
Yep, you sure can, Bubba. I give you permission.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Seth. Try to get permission from. I need a verification from you.
From me?
That I can call Tom Bean Beaner. A white man from Maine, I can call Beaner.
Can I just do a little research to get back to you on that one, Bubba?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
We've already said it, so we're already in trouble just since even looking into it. So we're looking to do a contest, and Dan, I gotta say, man, I think we would have a ton of participation, and I think that it would be huge. And I think there's a lot of men that listen to the show, especially if it was free, because.
Everyone loves free.
Yeah, everything loves free.
I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk likes free.
Hogan used to say, if it's free, I'll take 3. That's what Hogan used to say. What a glutton, right? Like somebody's offering you something for free and you want 2 additional, right?
Yeah, I love when multimillionaire media stars get stuff for free.
By the way,
they do all the time.
By the way, a couple things. I did a little workout last night, like I talked about. Because it's my gym, the Clem Gym, I work out. Well, I've always worked. Were you
gimmicked up when you worked out?
A little bit. I had taken half of my TT9 concoction because I feel, Dan, at that point, I would be potentially maybe snacking or rummaging around, and if I'm working out, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And then I try to time it so that I work out. About that when my workout is done, I'm about 15 minutes from passing out, and that way it gives me enough time to drive home, take a shower, and literally as I'm drying myself, putting my clean underwears on, I'm literally passing out. Like I'm just like the minute I'm almost like I'm
you
like
stumble to bed.
Merch Crick, who's not gimmicked up, she has to almost help me to bed like I'm a grandpa,
like your nurse.
Like yeah, she's my nurse. Yeah, she's gonna go from my girlfriend to my nurse. That'd be great.
That's another 10 years.
So that's about 3. So yesterday, during the After Hours podcast, we talked about all of us, just doing more, and I wasn't in a it wasn't in an adversarial type way, and it starts with me. So I worked out yesterday. That's on YouTube. I did I think it has 4,000 views. But back to one of my original thoughts, and that is I wear underwear when I work out because I figure I'm at my gym, and if my balls are hanging out, and nobody's gonna see them. But I work out barefooted and in my underwears.
Well, I mean, not wearing underwear is kind of gross, don't you think? Or just underwear? You're just walking around in your tighty whities and barefoot?
Yeah.
But you don't wear shorts over your underwear?
No.
Oh.
No.
Dude, why are you so worried about us sweating and wiping down the machines out there?
I'm not, because nobody's touching my machines.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's.
It's his balls and no one else's.
Nobody has permission to work out on my machines, and if you'd like to, you need to ask. And secondly, I have a very extensive
why did you decide
wipe down? After every what you didn't see when I turned the camera off is I then went and wiped down and used medical grade disinfectant on all my machines, and I leather condition each one of them because the cleaning chemicals are so harsh that if you don't leather condition, it'll eat up the That's why if you look at all my cushions on all my machines out there, they look literally, those machines
are brand new.
They're 15 years old.
They look brand new. Everything looks brand new.
Brand new. The only thing that's not brand new
that one thing.
Is the used cable crossover machine.
But,
and I'm thinking about having somebody, maybe Big Red or somebody repaint it and make it look better.
Put some flames on it.
Well, not put flames on it, but you can tell that it came from a gym. And people, the very bottom part, Dan, where the legs are, they're pretty beat up.
Yeah, but it looks industrial. It doesn't look like it's something you bought off of Instagram.
Oh no, it was from a gym that closed down. I love it. And the key to that, a key to a good cable crossover machine is to weather those those things, Dan, that you use, the pulleys,
Yeah, the
if they
pulleys.
can go up and down, because
that makes a big difference.
If they're fixed pulleys, then you're very limited on what you can do. Like for instance, if they're fixed top pulleys, you can probably just do lat pull downs and maybe tricep, lockouts. If the pulleys are positioned so that they're, locked in the down position, then you're doing maybe some curls, but mostly back on a bench type of deal.
Rows.
So my pulleys are adjustable, which adds,
It makes all the difference in the world. At the physical therapy place, the pulleys are adjustable, and that way you can get the perfect angle. I mean, that makes a lot. If I ever bought a pulley machine for my house, and I don't think I have enough roof space in that or ceiling space in my gym, it would have the adjustable heights, because that is critical.
There is these new all-in-one machines that all universities have now. All football programs have
the same machine.
Who
makes it?
Oh, I'll show you it. But if I was
remember when Nautilus was big and everyone had Nautilus, and
that's what I got now.
Nautilus.
What about Nordic Track?
No, that's all.
That's home stuff.
That's home stuff.
Oh, sorry. Okay, my bad.
All my stuff out there is Nautilus Nitro.
Oh wow.
Yeah. If you look
it's a high end.
If you look at all of my stuff, it's Nautilus Nitro. But that being said, they now make these singles. Like, Dan, you could buy it. It's a single station. Mach, have you seen them? And they're pretty industrial. They're kind of based on a Smith machine, and then they got a lat pull down, and then they got, cable crossovers on them. I mean, I know they're not a full-blown, badass free weight gym like you go to, but like for a guy like Dan who had limited room, you could get a pretty good workout on. Have you seen them?
Yeah, if you get the high quality ones, some of those are kind of iffy.
Yeah, the good ones. They got to be a good one.
If you get one like that, the University of South Florida football team would be getting, the industrial strength, commercial grade. Like when I went to Warsaw this past trip, they just redid their weight room, and of course that's something that I'm interested in. So I went in there, and they got all these stations. These, and that's all you would need, Dan, is one of those.
It's better than the old TheraBands.
Now, is your carriage house a two or three garage?
It's a 3-car garage.
Right. How many cars you put in it?
3 and a golf cart.
You do.
Yeah.
Which car stays out? I mean,
the
I'm
Jag.
sorry. Yeah.
And then the SF90 I have at Bella's house now. Stephen gave me a spot there since he moved.
Oh, what I'm saying is, if you could clear out just one of the 3 so that you bona fidely had one, that would be all that you would need.
And the only problem with that, Bubba, is that my garage isn't as air conditioned as the gym next to the garage.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it do.
No, it doesn't. Back in the day, the Clem Gym was an air conditioning.
Yeah, but you're an animal, man. I'm an indoor dog.
Yeah. I mean, now is Steve's gym worth anything, or is that kind of is that commercial?
Steven just moved, and he's got a new set of dumbbells that are adjustable. Remember those old things that didn't work well?
You could adjust them from 10 to 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And you with a lever, and then
But sometimes they'd fall off.
Right.
Yeah, this is way better. It's advanced. You rotate the handle, and it just dials in the weight, and you pull it up, and it's perfect every time.
Yeah.
So, and it's not clinky and clunky, and because weights should be solid. You don't want them jiggly.
Who's living at your old house?
The one across the street, Bella.
Just her.
Yeah, and her boyfriend and the dog.
Oh my God!
And then Steven's Dubois.
Who's Steven's Dubois?
Oh, I mean, he's a nephew of ours, but he's like his helper.
Is he like a real nephew, or did you just call him nephew?
So
he's like the Tulsa King guy, the black guy in Tulsa King.
If I'm Bella, I'm like, man, I finally mom and dad are gone, and I gotta have. I can't have the house to me and my boyfriend all to ourselves. We got to have the nephew here.
He's not there all the time, but he watches the dogs. And he's just there a lot during the day to oversee the house. Because she's at school all day, and sometimes she'll spend 10, 12 hours a day there, and she's got a dog.
My Lord, you talk about one hell of a house.
Oh yeah, it's awesome
for a 20. What is she? 23?
5, I think.
25-year-old. And is she single, or has she got a guy now?
She's got a boyfriend, really nice guy. Looks just like Nicholas.
Okay, all right.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
She looks just like her brother. He looks just like her brother.
I understand.
It's weird.
So, but man, that guy's got a free ride in life too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, does Steve? I can't think that Steve's charging him rent.
No, he does. I think he has his own place, but he's there a lot, and he's in law school with her. They're in law school together.
Now,
Steve's
hold on.
a slumlord?
Seth, are you familiar with the house right across the street from Dan's?
No, I'm only familiar with Dan's house.
Oh my God, they built this originally to be Dan's house.
I lived there for about 5 years.
Right, when Steve had young kids, Steve lived in Dan's big house across the street, the big one, and Dan had not started a family yet, and so Dan built this really kind of modern. I don't know that in today's strict permitting world, you'd even be able to build that house in today's world.
We bought that property at an auction with Brian. Brian bought it for us. He was our straw buyer.
And do you know why they had to straw buy it, Seth?
I don't even know what straw buy it is, but tell me, Bubba.
Straw buyers, when you send in somebody beside the owner to buy it for the owner because people don't like the owner.
The owner just wishes to remain anonymous at the time.
Yeah, they just didn't. The people that were selling the lot, the Diacos didn't want them to know that the Diacos were buying it, so they sent Brian in.
Did you need somebody rugged or smart for that job?
Smart.
Yeah, not rugged. Just $5 on YouTube.
Oh, thank you. By the way, we're down a soldier. Lummy's getting surgery, carpal tunnel surgery today. He's probably in the prep room, right?
But you haven't heard from him, have you?
No, I don't think I have. I didn't, and you know what? I didn't get any prep from him either.
Oh,
you can text him right now. I bet he's not back yet. He wouldn't go back till 7.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, harass him. He's just sitting there bored with a little gown on and his testicles hanging out.
If he didn't have to go until 7, Bubba, and he didn't show up today for the first 10 minutes of the show, I mean, this is just...
He had to be there. He had to be there at 6.
I'm just messing around.
Just trying to give him anxiety. So anyway, listen,
I guarantee if you call me, I'll answer.
I'm gonna. So, but you sent somebody in there to buy the lot, Brian Matroni, because you didn't want them to know that the Diacos were purchasing it. You got.
So I didn't want them bidding against us differently.
You got the lot. Then, but in today's world, would they let you put a house there?
Never, because I'm not only there's those flood zones, the A zone, B zone, C zone. This is not only in the A zone, it touches what's called the V zone, which I never even heard of before I built this house, and that's velocity. Like literally, it's right up to the edge of where the tidal waters go.
Here's the deal,
and then overhangs over the water.
Wow, I didn't know. I thought A was the highest you could go.
No,
this house. For lack of a better term, this house is built in the water.
Pretty much.
For real. You take one step off the back porch and you are on the shore. What they've put rocks down for erosion and things like that. But literally,
you're on the rocks.
The pilings. Some of the pilings for the house and the porch are actually in the water. And so anyway, Dan builds this badass contemporary Miami kind of style house because it's just him and Romina. They haven't started. Or was it just you, or was it you and Romina?
It was me and Romina, and Romina was pregnant.
Right.
So that's why we were building, because we had
Right. So you knew
we were living on the third floor.
But you only had one kid coming.
Right.
And so then once Dan had 2 kids. And Steven's kids started getting older, timing out, so to speak, getting closer to going to college. They did a flip-flop applesauce, and Steve moved over to Dan's house because his kids were on the last couple years of high school, and Dan's kids were now, kind of where they needed
playing in the pool, running in the yard, doing what little kids do in a big yard.
Right. Meanwhile, Bella and Nick are studying to go to MIT and, doing things like that. So they flip-flopped houses, right?
Yes.
And Steve's been in there ever since. Then Daddy Joe passes, God bless his soul, and he had kind of a dated, but the location is unbelievable.
Yeah, off of West Shore and open Tampa Bay.
Seth,
halfway between the Howard Franklin and the Gandy. It's perfect.
I'm not going to give you any street addresses or even street names, but Seth, picture from here to Gandy. Picture Kennedy to Gandy, halfway in between, on the ocean side, on the ocean, on one of those little fingers back there, and it was a dated house, but I think the backyard goes right into the bay.
And faces exactly west. I mean, there's no channel.
It's so
just,
beautiful.
All you see is St. Pete.
It's so beautiful.
Framed by the two bridges.
But Daddy Joe, wasn't all about necessarily decor and things like that.
It was nice when he bought it and moved into it.
But
then he dated out because he got old and he didn't remodel it.
Right, and all he cared about was bringing back 40-year-olds to the house.
Right,
He didn't care. He didn't care about what kind of wallpaper he had.
And certain houses, this, Bubba, firsthand. Certain houses have this unique ability to make a girl's clothes fall off.
Oh, my first house, where I used to live. As soon as they got to the guard gate and realized you had to, go through a live person to get there, and then as they're driving in, and then they go across the other bridge, and then as soon as they pull in my driveway, I knew I was getting some.
Take your shoes and your pennies off, leave them at the door.
So and as soon as they walk in, they see the fish tank, and they see all the the 18 by 18 marble, and it's just an equation. So sorry, obviously I don't live that lifestyle. Now I live in an apartment. I'm an apartment guy now. But so anyway,
it was such a nice house you had, Bubba, too. I'm not trying to rub it in or anything. It was just so pretty.
I wish I would have lost it.
It's probably worth like $30 million
No,
now.
I sold it for $1.3 million, and I think it's worth $3 now. $3, something like that.
I believe it.
Yeah. So anyway, listen, Dan and I are working on a contest that I think a lot of, like Seth, you overheard the idea, and I think you even agreed. Wow, that would be pretty kick-ass.
Oh, I'm mentoring.
You can mentor the guy, right?
No, I'm entering the contest.
Oh, you're going to enter it?
I'll enter and mentor.
You're ready to do it all, are you not?
Whatever it takes.
Right. Lummy, so I'll tell you what, let me do some words so I'm not too late today, and then we'll see if Lummy is answering his phone or not. He's back in, and what's that called? Pre-op?
Pre-op, yes.
He's in pre-op right now, and you're
pre-op
saying,
holding.
Dan, and so, the doctor, you're a doctor. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of people don't realize is as they're prepping you, running your IV, taking your blood pressure, taking all your clothes off and you have to put your little slippers on. Then they put this gown where your ass hangs out.
I was probably so scared.
And they run, don't they run an IV?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They do all that stuff, but you don't understand. Like the doctor's not even in the house. Like the doctor is so not even there.
Yeah, he's probably rolling up right now, the doctor. And so what he does is he reviews the chart, make sure he's got the right finger in the right hand, and marks it. And then the Lummy goes back, and they'll probably do an arm block and not put him completely to sleep.
For real?
They'll do an arm block. So they'll do like a tourniquet.
Will they drape his face so he can't see it?
Oh yeah, he'll just be arm exposed and he'll be under
for real,
covers.
Seth. Like they will.
What, like you're waterboarding him?
No. But they will put they'll put
his arm out the window kind of thing.
Yeah,
like he doesn't know what's going on.
They'll build like a little fort around his shoulder.
Just put me under at that point,
so that he cannot look over there and see what they're doing.
Correct.
So he can look to the. I think it's his right hand. He can look to the left and see what anything he wants, take all the equipment, see other people. But if he looks to the right, all he's going to see is drapery.
Just blue.
Yeah, because they don't want you to look at, them sawing on you.
So when they do an arm block, they'll put an anesthetic down the arm, and then they'll exsanguinate the blood.
They'll what the blood?
Exsanguinate. Meaning, so they take like an elastic bandage and they start at the fingertips and they wrap your hand all the way up to your armpit, and it squeezes all the blood out. And then they do
like a knee wrap kind of deal, one of those kind of deals.
Yeah, but it's more rubbery. It's like a rubber,
right?
And it's.
Are they literally trying to kill the circulation of your arm off?
They're trying to squeeze all the blood out of your arm. You elevate the arm and you do that, starting at the fingertips down to the armpit. It gets all the blood out.
Are they putting the blood back into your chest cavity or something?
Yeah. But they want a dry field. So then once they have the tourniquet up and your arm is numb, then he can operate and not have blood get in the way.
Hey, Seth, that's called a dry field.
Yes, it is called a dry field.
So does it really, really, really make a difference on how much bleeding?
Oh, yeah. Skin loves to bleed, especially in the hand. You ever cut your finger? Bleeds for 20 minutes.
Oh, I know.
So imagine like every time you made a nick in the hand, it would start bleeding like that. And then everything you touched would bleed. It's a mess.
So they dead arm them.
They
drape them, and then they tourniquet all the blood down. And how long is it? What, maybe 30 minutes?
Oh, for carpal tunnel, should be under 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. So then they then
suture it up and let the blood back.
And then will they wrap them up and
you have a big old bulky dressing.
That's it.
He'll come in with something tomorrow.
Right.
He'll have something on his hand.
We're gonna call Lummy because he's probably getting all this stuff done. And even if he's in the middle of getting an IV ran or something, I don't know that he has his phone.
He should, because they put it in a little plastic bag when you go back. But I bet he has it right now.
All right, we'll call. Give me 5 minutes and we'll call Lummy.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com
right now.
The Bubba the Love Sponge show will be back after this.
Total opposite of me.
He has decorum. Is that what it is?
Decorum.
Decorum.
Yes, he does. Fuck decorum.
Man, I didn't know Lummy wasn't going under. This changes everything.
I know, and we're gonna fuck with him on it.
This sounds like something they would do in war times. Like they would go and put a thing.
Yeah, put a tourniquet on you.
They have to saw your arm off.
Give you a couple. Give you a bullet to bite on and a thing of whiskey.
Yeah, and then they just saw your arm and they'd be, oh my god. Fuck, man. I mean, Lummy couldn't deal with a little carpal tunnel for the rest of his life. He's risking death. What's up, Quicker Ticker?
The skill is submitted. It said it takes about 3 days. We only get one, so I did the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Okay.
It's $9.99 footings.
Now, can you add more for more money, or you only get one?
I'll email them and ask them.
Yeah, I mean, because I like if it's even if it's more money,
Okay.
say different couple combinations.
All right, I'll email them.
All right, thank you.
What up, D Nice? What up, Grouper Lips? What up, Paul? Hey, Ashley. Oh, I miss Lummy. What up, Jesse?
I don't think I should text John Morgan this early. He's probably
No, he's up. He does a
No.
little wake and bake. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah,
I'd
baby.
say 8.
Dude, come on.
He might have had a few too many glasses on.
Dude, these lawyers are up all night. He probably is all over the Diddy case. Didn't go to bed doing hits in Australia.
This motherfucker hasn't tried a case in 10 years. He has 5,000 lawyers to do it for him.
Exactly. So he's got nothing going on. So hit him up, baby. What up, Sponjo? 642.
What's up, Kenny Powers, Big Buck, Mitch, Christopher Stevens, good morning. Trick Me, good morning. Steve Arrington. Jesse.
Fighter 2. The industry benchmark is recharged.
and continues leading the pack with his power, durability, and what's going on?
Son of God, loves by God, ultra human, excellent restored shed, good morning, Lips. Son of God, back of the doll, Sizzle, Slizzer, Dutch Duke, what's up, Bubba Nash? Big E, Creatine, Big Red, good morning. Philly sucks, except the teams are good. Well, Philly football fucking.
What's this Shogun shit that won all the Emmys?
Justin Keeler.
Can't touch this. I'm bulletproof just like your sponge. Oh, you cannot touch this, Bubba?
The Orlando Content House, Shindig, it's going to be a bunch of dudes doing stuff dudes do. Happening November 15th and 16th. If you want to come see this freak show, email us, orlando@bubbaarmyhq.com. Let the crew know if you want to be registered for Friday Night Fight Night. orlando@bubbaarmyhq.com. The BTLS show now returns.
I don't know where I'm getting this feedback from. I'm trying to figure out where this is. This is my internet pot, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm getting this. I'm trying to figure out where this is. This is my internet pot, and I'm trying to. It's not from Rumble. Where this is. This is my internet pot. It's not from YouTube. It's not from Rumble. It's not from X. It's not from YouTube. It's not from Twitch. It's not from Rumble. It's not from Facebook. It's not from Twitch. Anybody who wants to not from throw me a lifeline? Not from Twitch.
I don't even know what world we're in right now.
Well, we're on the air, by the way. It's a Bubba the Love Sponge show.
What world we're in right now?
But we're on the air. And so when I put my internet feed up,
what world?
Like to play stories and stuff, I'm getting something that's playing. It's playing from somewhere.
I mean, we've only got like 20 tabs.
Playing. No, I understand that, but none of these tabs play the show. These are all my news tabs up here. Okay, guys.
Do you need Macho Man?
I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, I don't know either. You need Macho Man?
If you
I don't
minimize
know.
that,
I don't know where.
If you minimize that big screen, is there another screen behind it that you don't see that's maybe has the tab? Because I have, we got two different outlooks on these computers.
All right, well, Macho's taking over my cursor, so go ahead and do what you got to do.
Outlooks on these computers.
All right, well, Macho's taking over my cursor, so go ahead and do what you got to do. See, Mach, it's not Mach, it's none of those. It's my cursor, so go ahead and do what you. This is really freaking me out because. So go ahead and do it. You can see. This is really freaking me out. Mach, you're doing everything that I did. So go ahead and do it. You can see. This is really freaking me out. Mach, you're doing everything that I did. We're cross-wired Willie here. Go ahead and do it. You can see. This is really. I've checked everything you're checking. We're cross-wired Willie here. Go ahead and do it.
Is Lummy sabotaging us?
This is really. I've checked everything you're checking. We're cross-wired Willie here. Go ahead and do it.
Is Lummy sabotaging us?
This is really. There you go. I've checked everything you're checking. There it is. You found it. It was a page on a page. It was a page. You know what? It was a page behind a page. You have to hit the Turf Tiger one. Hit the Turf Tiger one. There you go. All right. Whew, so sorry. God, that was very uncomfortable, very unprofessional. We pretty much suck. Now I know why nobody wants to take us. I mean, Jesus.
Come on, let me answer.
He's pre-op for a carpal tunnel Willie. We're
hoping they mix up the charts and take his whole arm off.
Seth said, is he getting a bottle of whiskey and a bullet to bite? Or,
it's a piece of stick.
I mean, they're not putting him under. This is like, 1800s type surgery.
By the way,
whiskey and
by the way,
in your mouth.
No Venmo or Cash App today. Just PayPal in that world. I can only monitor PayPal, so no Venmo.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not
so
available. At the tone.
Yeah, I don't want to leave a message.
Hopefully he wakes up and freaks out when he sees that you called.
In a very rare.
Do you want me to call pre-op and see if he's...
Dan, no.
All right, tell him to answer his damn phone.
Let's just
What's wrong with him?
Come on, we gotta give him our thoughts and prayers before he goes under, Bubba, or halfway under.
I don't want to
Before he
bother.
goes halfway under.
First of all, Dan, when you call up there, the women are going to be nervous because you make them nervous.
Yeah, but they're not operating on him.
I know.
Tom doesn't get nervous.
No, let's just...
He's as cool as the bean.
Let's let Lummy get his carpal tunnel procedure done in peace.
Boo.
I'm monitoring PayPal today, but in a very rare move, we're telling you, don't open up your wallets with Venmo or Cash App today because we don't have the ability to monitor those. And so you know what you were going to give today, give double tomorrow because Lummy will be here and be able to celebrate it. Now, Dan is watching, I think, YouTube, and I thought you were going to watch Rumble.
Well, you said you wanted Seth to watch Rumble, but I'm watching it.
No, I told Seth was going to watch YouTube.
You said the opposite this morning, but that's fine.
No. I even asked Seth, which one do you watch the most? And he said, I'm a YouTube baby.
Okay. Well, I thought I called out the YouTube one and no one yelled at me. So whichever. I got it.
It's by committee.
Okay.
You know, I would have Rumble and YouTube open.
That's what I got.
And I think Seth does not really care for Rumble too much.
No, Rumble's fine. I just I didn't call out the one because it was $5. They just normally say do it over 10.
Yeah, if it's not over 10, then sorry. I mean, $5. I mean.
But I mean, Lummy I did ask.
I think a bunch of little monkey grinders over here.
But I did ask Lummy yesterday about calling out the bits, and he said that Dr. Dan wanted to do it. So
yeah, well,
he asked me if I would do it last night. He texted me.
All right, well, you guys figure it out.
Okay, great.
Okay, John Morgan, which in a couple hours I'm going to text to see if I can set up a Zoom for tomorrow because now I think everybody that lives in Florida would agree that this is a very powerful man.
Oh, yeah.
He is he might be within our state. Well, I mean, they're the Morgan & Morgan, they're the largest personal injury attorneys in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's saying a lot, Dan, because there are some pretty big ones in New York and L.A.
Yeah, but there's a lot of corporate lawyers up in New York and L.A. and entertainment lawyers and things like that are huge. But when it comes to personal injury, he dominates the whole country.
He is the biggest in the entire world. I've known John for well over 10 years, even when he wasn't this big. But, I mean, he was still a whale.
He was huge.
But now, I mean, he might be one of the biggest slinging Ds in the state of Florida. And he has problems with our governor, which I kind of do too, because we're getting ready to, obviously election day is 54 days away, something like that. I don't know. It's something like that. And in Florida, not only are we voting for the president and voting for congressmen and dog catcher and school board members, and I think there's a few sheriff races going on. I don't know. This is every year we have an election of various types, but this year happens to be what they call the sexy election or a sexy election because it's involving putting a new president. So that's always, in normal elections that are non-presidential, the turnout is what, like
a lot
25, 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think when presidential elections come around every 4 years, I think they're more towards the 60 and 70% participation.
It's certainly over 50 versus under 50.
And so there's a couple of amendments. Not only we Floridians are we voting for, all of our local stuff and things like that, but we also have, Kamala and, Donald Trump on the presidential ticket. There's a bunch of congressmen and Congress people and senators that are up. And, of course, the sexiest race of all is the president of the United States. That being said, a lot of states probably every state, I got to think that all 50 states have some sort of amendment that they're going to be voting on. We happen to have, I don't know how many amendments, but we got two real sexy ones. And one of them is involving the recreational use of marijuana, and the other one is abortion. And those are, I don't know if they're 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, or I don't know which ones they are. Maybe you guys can look them up. But Ron DeSantis, our governor, is being a real dick on the marijuana one. He's like very adamantly against the marijuana one. We all, listen, whether we consume marijuana or not, I think that...
Amendment 4 is abortion.
Amendment 4 is abortion?
And 3 is pot.
And 3 is pot. Okay. So, on 3, I think Dan or Seth, or Red or Macho, whoever can read it and give it to me in layman terms, great. This would be 3, and then we'll go over to 4 as well. 3, I think, is about involving the ability to recreationally use marijuana and not have to have a medical card issued through the state. And now is it my understanding that people that buy it rec, they have to go to the same dispensary that the medical people do? Is that, I think...
No, there's going to be a bunch of new dispensaries. A lot of the dispensaries will go, they'll switch from medical to either
rec.
Yeah, medical to rec, or they'll do both. I'm not sure if you can do both actually, but that's what will happen. I think a lot of these medical places have been waiting to just flip, to full on rec.
So they might be able to, so the medical places now, the same place, which by the way, man, I've been to a few of them. They are nice inside.
Some of them are, yeah.
Very nice. Go ahead.
The pushback on Amendment 3 is the ability for them to put limits on possession for personal use. So homegrown stuff, how much you can have at home of your own flower is going to be heavily regulated, and that's kind of the big hang up on it.
It says 3 ounces is going to be the rule. It says, first of all, it's going to require a 60% vote.
3 ounces isn't that much if you're growing at home.
Yeah, but it says supports legalizing marijuana for adults 21 and older and allowing individuals to possess up to 3 ounces of marijuana.
Possess.
So the thing
it
doesn't encourage.
I think the big hang up is there's not a grow at home provision in it. If there is a grow,
because they want their money.
They want their taxes.
Right. Exactly.
So you cannot grow at home.
Right.
And it's
but medical marijuana users can grow a small amount at home.
But let's be honest, people have been growing at home, this whole time. So I don't think that's going to stop.
Right. I don't think that agencies are now going to have a task force specifically looking for guys that are not,
It's going to be an incidental charge. They'll find them when they're busting you because you stole a television. It's like, oh, he's got 4 plants.
Right.
Remember they used to look for grow houses because they would find the spike and the power and all that stuff?
They would infrared from helicopters.
They would send a helicopter up and see what roof was bright red, because they had the LED lights or whatever going on. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to be looking for it more than they already are. And again, it's going to be you did something else to allow them access into your home. And in the guy's, back garage area, he looks like he's growing 10 plants or whatever.
And, honestly, if you are supporting marijuana in Florida, then you should support the amendment because it's, arresting one's ability to grow in your home. For people that smoke a lot of marijuana, don't grow it all the time. They just go out and buy it.
Right.
It's hard to support a personal habit.
And growing it is actually kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, you've got to really...
Yeah, but does that make it okay for the government to regulate what you can and cannot own inside of your own house?
Or they could just say it's illegal. Just like they could say certain guns are illegal or certain drugs are illegal. Yeah, Red, I think it is. I mean, we're so lucky. If you support marijuana, we're so lucky to have gotten to this point in a state that, arrested
but here's the deal.
Jim Morrison for just being obnoxious on stage. I mean, which was a very, very, very
in the 60s
conservative state, and now we're legalizing marijuana. I think it's unbelievable.
But hold on, Red. I think that they have to put that in there in order to get it go through. But it's kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge deal.
Well, another part of it is allowing only certain companies to have a license to grow within the state. And I mean, we've seen it happen with with other things. I know this isn't the best example, but if you take away competition on the marketplace, the product is going to suffer.
Well,
EA
and the
Sports has had the
prices, too.
license to Madden NFL football for the last 20 years, and those games are dog crap every single year because there's no competition. So,
Well,
I think there's a lot of good and bad to be taken with this.
And the price. Lack of
Well, the
competition
price, sure.
brings up price. You know, if I can't go across the street.
It doesn't keep companies honest. People are going to buy the crap every year knowing what it is, and they don't have any reason to make it any better or worse for the consumer. As long as they're making their money, that's where this is a very slippery slope. I think the product is going to suffer, and I think with recreational weed, you're going to start seeing people smoking trash weed and potentially more people getting sick from the chemicals that can come from these giant plants.
What? You think that allowing this amendment to pass, that more people are going to get sick from crappy pot?
Yes.
You really think that?
I really do, Dan.
So
Has that happened in other states?
Are you voting no? Are you voting no on 3?
Yes, I would.
Why would I can't understand how anyone that supports marijuana would vote no on 3 because here's where it matters to people in
you gotta
America.
read within the lines, Dan. You got to see what they're trying to do. Again,
Dan,
this is all about the integrity of the product and making it safe for people to consume.
Which is what they're trying to do by saying you can only buy it from the dispensaries.
They've been making money hand over fist with our food for the last 20 years, and look at all the poison they're putting in the grocery stores. I mean, these people really do care about this as long as they're getting their money at the end of the day.
So you really think that buying pot from the dude up the street is safer than buying a pot from a dispensary? That's what you're telling me. That's nonsensical, Rhett. I'm not trying to be a dick. It just doesn't make any sense. And here's why I think it's important. If you're just some dude and you have a joint on you and you don't have a medical marijuana card, if Amendment 3 passes, you're not going to jail. Period. So for 99% of the world in Florida, it makes it easier to be a consumer of marijuana.
Here's the deal, man. I think you can still grow your own as long as it's for personal use. Listen, I'm not saying the letter of the law says this. I'm saying the word on the streets is you can still probably grow it for what you're going to use and maybe a couple of your boys, and you're not, and you don't sell it. You're not selling. The way that the cops bust people that are growing weed is that they bust a person that has bought 3-4 ounces from dude X, and they get with this dude and said, hey, you can either take the rap for having 3 or 4 ounces on you, or you can just tell us where you bought it from. And he flips. Yep. He flips and he tells, I bought it from this dude down the street, and this dude down the street's got a big garage full of weed, nice little operation, and he's slinging some weed. Well, if dude X wasn't slinging the weed for a profit and was just growing it for let's say dude X is Rhett's best friend. Then he was selling, and he was growing it and just giving it because he wants to grow his own pot, and he knows the quality of it, knows where the chain of command, knows he knows when he knows where it came from, the quality of it, and he's just giving it to Rhett. That's how people get busted, and they're doing high volumes and selling it. If you're just growing enough for personal use, I don't think you got a care in the world.
I think what a lot of this boils down to, and this goes back to the argument about the quality of the bud. When you look at who supports the amendment, True Leaf is the biggest corporation in support of this amendment. Dan, if you talk to 5, 10, 20 guys who grow their own stuff at home, or work in a plant, or work with growing of cannabis, just ask them their honest opinion about the quality of Curaleaf and True Leaf flower, the stuff that they mass produce and sell to the public. Ask them their opinion on it.
All right,
ask them the lab tests. Ask them the additives that are being added in the factory.
We can't ask them, but obviously you know the answer to it. So why don't you tell us what they would say?
They'd say it's garbage. That's all I'm saying is there's a lot of people who realize by now that these giant corporations may not have your best interest. It seems like it's something to get a lot of people excited, and they're going to take advantage of a lot of dumb potheads, but I'd rather keep my guns and vote no on Amendment 3.
I mean, I think of this as like 1929, and would you rather have that 180 proof moonshine that your buddy up the street makes because you watch him make it, you know what's in there? Or would you rather buy a bottle of Jack Daniels that's only 80 proof, but you know it's been done in a controlled fashion? I'd buy the Jack Daniels rather than the moonshine up the street.
I got a phone call. Hello.
Good morning, Bubba.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, because you guys are talking about John Morgan tomorrow calling. John Morgan on a Sunday morning interview made 100% sense. If Ron DeSantis was so concerned for our safety, then he would cut the alcohol off, because so many people are getting more injured and killed and whatever else from alcohol than medical marijuana. That's all I have to say. Enjoy your day. Love you guys.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's
never going to happen.
Well, that's been the debate since the beginning of time. Is
Right.
what's worse? I don't think that's where you should go with weed.
No, I don't either.
I think weed can stand on its own. You don't have to compare it to alcohol.
Listen, I don't care if it passes or not.
Well,
to be honest with you,
can I say
I got the ability to get it if I get what I need if I need something.
I know the owners of Move, and when I was with Drew, we did a podcast series with them, so I kind of understand how it goes. I know a lot of people know that not only they did this with the medical licenses, but Florida gives out the licenses to grow. So there's only a handful of places that are allowed to grow medically, and there's only going to be a handful of people that are allowed to grow recreationally if it's not already given out to the people grown medically. So they're worried about just the average Joe never being able to thrive in the marijuana business.
But here's the one thing, and Rhett, you can give me your opinion on this. Right now, man, if you do it the right way, where you got your medical card, it is such a pain in the ass, and it's so expensive and such a shakedown to you have to go to a particular doctor, and then then you got to buy a license from the state, and then it's
think about how much more expensive it'll get,
or cheaper.
Cheaper.
You know, I mean, you can get marijuana anywhere in New York, and the problem with New York having recreational marijuana is that when you go to Times Square, it smells like a big bong, and I don't have any problem.
That's one of DeSantis's big issues,
which I agree with, because I don't have any. I don't care about people smoking pot. I have no negative opinions about marijuana, except that when I'm in Times Square, or if I'm at like a nice movie theater or a nice dinner, I don't want to smell it. I don't want my kids to smell and say, "What's that smell?"
But Times Square,
I don't need that.
Better than cigarettes.
Yeah, it's better. But we've obliterated cigarettes from the public space.
Doesn't Times Square have like Naked Elmos? I figure weed should be like the least of the
problems. The naked cowboy. The naked cowboy.
Oh, is he still doing well?
Hold on here.
Same thing with this Amendment 3.
This is our governor.
The Amendment 3, the media will refer to it as marijuana recreational legalization. That's not entirely true.
By the way, I only have one channel on this, so it's the way I'm getting it.
Partial legalization, because this has been put in by basically one big weed company that spent $75-80 million. And yes, they write in there that you have a right to possess and use up to 3 ounces of marijuana, which the law enforcement tells me may be 50 to 100 joints. So that's more than any other state in the country. So
they had to tell him that.
Yeah,
he knew.
Putting that in the Constitution. So yes, you do have that right, but only if you buy it from them. You can't grow it in your backyard. You got to buy it from them. So they're creating in our Constitution a big weed cartel. And not only that, they're giving themselves protection from any civil liability at all, at any point in the distribution or cultivation process. That's not in the ballot summary. So when you as a voter go read the ballot summary, it does not tell you that they're giving themselves total immunity from liability. That's a pretty big thing to have. How the Florida Supreme Court let that summary on was a huge mistake and a bad decision. But that's what's happening. So they're not spending $70-80 million because they're just looking for kicks. They're doing it because...
Again, this is Governor Ron DeSantis giving you his opinion on Amendment 3, which is the marijuana deal.
They're locking in a captive market for their corporate interest. That's why they're doing it. And this idea of it can be regulated in public, I would just point out, if you read the text of the amendment, there is nothing in their proposed Amendment 3 that would authorize restricting use in public. In fact, it says there can be no penalties for possession and use, blanket. There's no exceptions to that. And even if somehow they put that in there, I don't think there's been any place in the country that successfully cabin the use.
Oh,
See, I would
God.
view it the opposite. I mean, I would say instead of putting a big weed cartel in the Constitution, instead of telling people you can buy it from them and then you're fine, but then it can be used in public, I would do the opposite. I think it's much more reasonable to say, if people want to grow in their backyard and use it in their house, that's fine. Just don't bring it in public, right? We don't want it in our streets and stuff.
Hey, listen, I like that.
I understand that position too.
But hold on. That's not on the ballot. What I'm saying is, like, it's easy to armchair quarterback this once it's been drawn up and proposed. And so to sit here and armchair quarterback, actually, Ron, I like your proposal better.
But don't you think that may be an evolution? Like a lot of states go from no marijuana to medical marijuana, then to legalizing it in some fashion.
Yeah.
I think it's along that line.
I think the next step
would be private growing.
I think the next step if they could pass this, would be to refine this and that allow home growing and, limit a little bit, give officers a little bit more leeway to be able to arrest you if you're literally outside Publix, blazing a big joint.
Just keep the government away from my weed, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But you got to give the government a little something in order to get your weed, Rhett. So if the only limitations were this, don't smoke it in public, meaning like outside.
But that stuff is so overrated, man. I've been to Denver, Chicago, L.A. I only go to places where marijuana is fully legal, and nobody's walking around smoking.
That's what they're
That's
trying.
not true, Seth. That's not true. In New York, it's not. That's the way it's in New York. They're walking around smoking.
I was in Vegas.
New York is the biggest asshole on the face of the planet.
I was in Vegas, and when we were walking down Fremont Street, you could smell.
They're selling joints on the sidewalk in Vegas.
So listen, man, Rhett.
You're talking about like in tourist party areas.
I think you agree, Rhett. I think you would agree that, okay, I'm going to open up the growing at home deal. I'm going to open all that up. Doesn't matter where you buy it from, you can buy it. But just police officers can give you a ticket. And they can't lock you up. They can give you a ticket if you're in a real public space and you're out there burning joints. They can give you a ticket for, burning it in public.
Yeah, and I understand it. Even with like the medical rules, that's always kind of been the thing.
Sure.
It's for home. It's for use at home.
And so I get it. And I would go for that. I'd be like, yeah, I don't got no problem with doing it in the privacy of my own car.
Yeah, who cares? They can't stop me in the car.
Yeah, right. But boy, I will tell you, man, if you're behind a car that's blazing, your air conditioning, if you don't have recycle on and you just have fresh air Willie,
you're bringing it in.
You're bringing it in.
If you're at a red light, the whole intersection smells it.
Exactly. It's true.
And so they're doing the opposite.
See, and Ron, I'm all for you, but what you're proposing is not available. It's not an amendment. It's not an amendment to an amendment. You're just armchair quarterbacking what they have put in there. And I would prefer your stance on this position, but your stance on this position isn't currently available to vote on.
Right, it's not an option yet.
Right, so,
just like recreational marijuana was not an option when they voted in medical marijuana.
Right.
It's
it'd be
it's an
easier
evolution.
when you were talking about medical marijuana. You were like, well, medical marijuana is okay, but it's really going to pad the coffers of the state, and they're going to make you get this license and go see this doctor. Why don't we just wreck it right now? Well, that wasn't available, so you had to vote in the medical. Listen, I think you have to vote in every stage of the way until you refine it to what you want it to be.
Yeah, this doesn't prevent another amendment coming down the road in 2 more years that says it makes this legal to grow in your backyard.
You can now grow,
but you can't smoke it in public.
Right.
Think of what kind of a pro-freedom approach would be. And it's interesting. We have medical marijuana in Florida. I implemented it. It had passed before I became governor. No one was really doing anything about it. And my view is like, the people voted for it. We're going to do it. And it hasn't overrun the state because in that amendment, they put in there nothing in this amendment would mean that you have to accommodate the use of medical marijuana in public. They also put in that amendment there's no overriding civil liability like negligence and malpractice. So they put that in there. Amendment 3, this was written by the CEO of a big weed company, literally written by their CEO. They do not have any accommodation where you can do anything to restrict public. So when people say you can do it, they're just asserting that without any textual basis in the amendment. And then you also have this issue of liability. They could have made clear that the liability does not extend to negligence actions, product liability. I mean, what? If you sell someone defective weed and they have seizures, they can't sue you? That's what it says. It's a blanket immunity. So I think it's just.
I mean, and Dan, legally, that's a very, very, very unbelievable precedent to, be able to sell something. You write the bill where they got to pretty much buy it from you, and then you blanket yourself with no, liability at all. That's a little suspect.
Well, I think, probably the liquor companies have that similar setup, and I know the pharmaceutical companies have that setup. So
might as well let the weed companies do it.
Might as well let the weed companies do it.
The process of trying to pull the wool over the eyes of people is not a good process. That summary does not accurately tell voters what the impact of this. It's a very.
Does anybody know what this is skewing right now as far as 60? It needs to be 60%, correct?
Yes.
Does anybody know what the latest poll is? And then abortion, let's break that down too.
By the way, is Ron DeSantis cranky because he's not going to be around to spend the billions of dollars that it's going to make in taxes?
No, I think that Ron DeSantis is really happy because he's gotten paid off by the insurance companies billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're in an insurance conundrum right now. And I know personal injury and PIP and all this, auto insurance that was, really set to protect the consumer against uninsured motorists and things like that. I know that world has changed tremendously, and it's not been for the good.
As of right now, Amendment 3 is 64% said they would vote yes.
64. Ooh, that looks like it's going to make it.
What about 4?
What about 4?
Let me see if I can find it.
John Morgan, Casey DeSantis, with all due respect, this is just flat out wrong. I guess Casey DeSantis is Ron DeSantis' wife.
And she's saying vote no on 3.
And he says, I have the largest injury firm in the world. I know something about this. If you or Governor Ron DeSantis would like to debate me on this issue, I'm looking for debate mates because most people are scared to. Ron is Harvard and Yale. So, all right. So he's saying Ron, our governor, is Harvard and Yale. So I know he would be formidable. But I have something just as powerful, the truth. Just a tip. When you say something that's not true, all of your other arguments are not as effective. Thanks for all that you do. P.S. I agree with Ron on this. People should be allowed to grow at home and use at home. Let's do that the next legislative session. So you can see, Johnny Morgan's like, yep. We need to put a home kicker in there, and I got that on deck for the next one.
For Amendment 4, there's a couple of pieces of data here. It says Emerson College found that 55% favor it, 26 opposed, and 20% undecided. This is the latest one
55
conducted early September. Sorry.
One more time on the stats, 55?
55 favor it, 26 oppose it, and 20% are undecided. That's from Emerson College.
Oh, Dan, of the 20, you only need to get 5 points. It's getting passed.
Public Policy conducted a poll between August 21st and 22nd that found 61% people favored, 25 opposed, and 14 were undecided. And then public sentiment toward Amendment 4 was at its highest in June and July when University of North Florida and Fox News both saw 69% of people favor it, while 23 and 27 opposed it respectively.
John Morgan goes on later to say, Ronnie D is spot on and was very helpful to me in all things medical marijuana. Thank him for me. Yes on 2 and for the people. I'm going to try to get, I'm going to text John today and see if we can Zoom him up tomorrow.
You think John's still out of the presidential donations?
I don't know.
You think they might have pulled him back in?
I think we can ask him that. Be like, hey, Johnny M. Yes, Bubba. What do you, are you writing big checks for Kamala, or did your pen, did the ink in your pen dry up? How do you think this is all going to work out?
I'm sure they asked to meet with him.
Oh, he's the largest. He usually is the largest Democratic donor in the state.
Yeah, he's huge to the Democratic Party.
Usually, but when they announced Kamala was going to be the candidate, he got full hot. Says I ain't writing checks no more because this woman. We were never given the option to vote for the new person.
Right. And
this was a shove down, and I don't like it.
It's not very democratic. The language in Amendment 4, just so people understand.
This is the abortion.
Yes.
Amendment 3 is weed. Amendment 4 is abortion.
Right. So vote yes. A yes vote supports adding the following language to the Florida Constitution's Declaration of Rights. No law shall prohibit, penalize, delay, or restrict abortion before the viability or when necessary to protect the patient's health as determined by the patient's healthcare provider. That means that abortions will be legal up until around the 24th, 26th week, and that is determined by the doctor and nobody else.
That is perfect. I mean, isn't that, Dan, perfect?
Yeah, it says it still requires parents to be notified if a minor gets an abortion.
Absolutely.
Which, I mean, you have to be notified if the minor wants to get her ears pierced.
Right.
So, I mean, an abortion's a little more invasive than an ear piercing.
Or a tattoo.
Or a tattoo.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I mean, here, man, I'm yes on both.
Well, I'm absolutely yes on 4. I think, up to the viability is reasonable, and 6 weeks is unreasonable.
I'm yes on both. Let me go into some words. Howard says, Stern, friend of mine, I don't know what he's trying to do here. I mean, the minute
he's decapitated.
They're just doing some little fancy clip art. Howard says if you like Trump or you're going to vote Trump, he hates you, and he doesn't want you to listen to his show.
Yeah, he's got so much money you can't cancel him at all.
You're right.
Want to listen to the show on demand and on the go? Enlist today at BubbaArmyHQ.com. Sign up and start listening. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
People invited to his wedding.
Is that back when Trump was a Democrat?
Yep. Hi, everybody. It's just me and you. And I'm on YouTube. Anybody see my workout video with my balls? I had to put a towel over my legs so my balls didn't hang out. I think maybe I'm going to start wearing sweatpants when I work out, get more thermal. Hello, Trick. Hello, Brian Haas. Wayne, Double X Gaming, Kenny Piz, Blummel's Defense, Dave Darkness, Folly Jim, Chris Adams, Big Buck. What shirt do I got on? Who's your daddy? Ah. I'm trying to work out again today, but I don't know if I'm going to. Oh no, today I got to do my food review.
What's up, Dutch Duke? Bubba's my god. Go, Bub. I gotta clear the police. What's up, TNT 1560? It helps. Snooze up. Freezing.
What up, Jim? What up, Todd? What up, Brian? Can't wait to get to that time of year where my glasses don't fog up.
I'm pro-human, so fuck God. Close my storage shed.
What up, Justin Sider? Big lunger.
Buzzer Bob.
Nope. Podcast. Just a podcast today. What up, Hockey Farmer?
Boy, weed gets people fired up. More than abortion. Thank God I know the prices are going to go down. I understand the market concept.
Oh, Diddy's fucked, man.
What was the actual charge?
We're going to get into that. They're supposed to unseal it today, Dan, whatever that means.
So I couldn't find it yesterday.
Yeah, they're supposed to do it today, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, today is the big high school.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show, listener supported via PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. All at the Bubba Army now returns.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show. We'll do the show today, and then Seth and I will do we're doing Clem and Kush today podcast. We're actually going to sit down and plan out some stuff instead of it's just being him and I bitching about things that suck or that we don't like or that we do like and that we would wish that you would like or whatever. We're going to put a little thought to it today. Then after that, I'm going to go do a food review. I think I'm reviewing the new Chick-fil-A, some kind of something. I'll know it when I see it on the menu. Yesterday, I did all trying to aggregate people to our YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel. You can watch the show. If you missed this show, you can always go back and watch the show because we put the show up immediately. You can always also one-stop shopping at BubbaArmyHQ.com. But yesterday I did a little I think it was maybe like a 26 to 30-minute workout. And I saw some comments saying, "Oh my God, Bubba, you're so fat and out of shape that you breathe so hard." If you work out weights, you can work out weights so that it is somewhat of a cardio moment. If you go from, and I always try to do 15 to 20 reps because I'm not trying to do, Macho Man, he might even not do as heavyweight and more reps. My heavyweight days are, well, except for what I weigh, my in the gym heavyweight days are over where I'm only doing 3 and 4 reps. Putting so much tension on your joints and on your tendons and just everything to build bulk. I'm just trying to, build, just kind of stay in shape and tighten. That's the world that I'm in. So, I only do, I try to do 15 or 20 reps. And if you do them back to back to back, like for instance,
it's exhausting.
I started on the quadricep machine. And I went from there to the chest machine. And then I went back to the quad machine. Then I went to the ab machine. Then I went and touched up chest. Then back to abs. And then over to over to back. And then to the space shuttle and 3 sets of that. And in 25 or 30 minutes, man, you can get a pretty good little workout in. Now today I'll probably touch up legs a little bit more, maybe some hamstring work, some calf work, and then I'll do maybe heavy shoulders, 25 minutes of shoulders, and maybe a little bit of tricep.
25 minutes of shoulders.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so, but cable crossovers, which are involving shoulders and touching up your chest. So I only worked out 25 minutes, but I was out of breath because I did take one rest. Where I turned the camera around and answered some questions.
Any good questions?
I was playing around I brought Bella to the gym, so most people were just commenting about how cute Bella is and how well-behaved she is and how most pit bulls would tear your face off if you're antagonizing them the way that I do. So I'm going to try. I might get a workout in today. If I do, I might go live. The only bad thing about going live when I work out is I can't listen to any music because you'll get a copyright strike. So working out with no music, I don't know, for some reason sucks. Like, Dan, I guess you only work out 3 times a year, right?
Well, when I ride my bike, I like to have a little music.
Yeah.
So I like to have it in my, use one earbud.
Right.
So I don't get killed.
So anyway, today I'm going to go do a food review. It's the new Chick-fil-A sandwich. That'll be up on Thursday. After the show, I'm taping a Klim and Kush with Seth Kushner's. Yesterday's after show that we put up for a podcast did pretty well. I guess is doing pretty well. And my workout video, I think, is over 4,000 views. So that's how we roll. Go to make sure that you are subscribed and get a notification on our YouTube channel. Make sure, because there's a lot of stuff that we put up there that's exclusive to YouTube. Like my workout video. Eventually, in a couple weeks, I might put it up on Facebook. But Facebook is. You know what? For some reason, guys, I don't know if we're shadow banned or if I don't seem like I'm doing something different. Seth, Rhett had pointed out something that I've been doing a little bit wrong, so I've corrected that yesterday. But it still's like, man, we were for a while, for like a year on our Facebook page, we went from like 109,000 to 161,000. Just now it's like we've hit the wall. For the longest time, like 3 years, we were stagnant at 109,000. Well, now I feel like we're stagnant at 161, and everything I put up does not move the needle at all and doesn't make any money. And I'm losing people. Like I think last month I lost like 200 people. So I don't know what's going on with our Facebook page.
I don't know.
Do you think Facebook users are just dying off now because they're so old?
I think you might.
Just natural attrition.
I think there might be a little bit of that.
It's like everyone that's got like a rotary telephone.
Seth, what do you think?
I don't use Facebook at all. I mean, it's not in my rotation.
And I didn't. I did it. We weren't using it to promote the show much until I started to, and we started making some pretty good money with some of the recycled stuff. But now it seems like I've hit a wall on the recycled stuff. I'm not trying to put all my eggs in the Facebook basket, but 161,000. Those are some pretty good numbers that you can use for a digital So, but it seems like I've hit the wall with Facebook. I don't know what I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. Can the listeners look at our Facebook? Are there people that could give us some type of insight or analyzation, or if we open up that can of worms, it's just going to be an absolutely shiz show.
Here's a question: if you have like a hot new video, do you ever prioritize it on Facebook and put it there first?
No.
Well, maybe that's your problem.
But I feel as if I'm
you gotta spread the wealth.
I'm just feeling like I'm cheating on YouTube. YouTube's the big sexy. It's the big sexy one.
Well, anyway, you can't take out both girls at the same time. You gotta pick a date.
Shut up, Dan. Anyway, so Howard Stern, I guess, Outkick is reporting that Howard Stern hates anyone who votes for Trump and demands them to stop listening to his show. They're quoting, "I hate people who vote for Trump. I think they're stupid. I have no respect for them." And then he compared Donald Trump to Hitler again. Is this audio? Is this potentially audio?
I don't know. I don't know if they can take audio from a show. Really close with your.
Yeah, and if you do, I mean, a lot of times we'd have him live. We'd have Howard live on live, so we're broadcasting our audio, and we'd still get a strike for it just because he was on our. Because they got Howard so locked up on copyrights, which they should. They're paying him enough money; they should have it all locked up. But when we would have to go back and tell YouTube and various places, hey, listen, this is our feed, we own it, and we'd have to jump through a few hoops in order to get our ownership back of the stuff that we broadcast on our air. Here we go. This is
President Trump had another assassination attempt.
Who's this dude?
I have no clue.
All right, I don't think
I've actually seen him before.
This dude?
Yeah.
Made against him, the second, just within what's it been now?
This guy looks like an Amishman that's out back, planting potatoes after he does his show.
Less than 3 months since the last one.
The Ricky Cobb. Hi, Ricky Cobb. I think you're probably on Outkick, and I think that's a huge, huge platform. So, Ricky Cobb, I like you, my friend.
Pretty crazy. When we really stop and think about it. I can't get over what we saw happen to Donald Trump earlier this year in Pennsylvania.
All right, so I'm not going to go through all this.
I mean, that's what Stern said. I mean, that's it's.
This is what I find odd in the fact that. Well, I mean, I guess you can flip on any. I mean, I've flipped on friends, but I was very, very, very fortunate. Not playing the name game. This is just factual. But, I was invited, me and Heather were invited to Howard's wedding with Beth, and it was very exclusive. I mean, I don't know. I think there might have been 100 people. I mean, I'm talking about Donald Trump was there.
Tight.
Billy Joel was there. Chevy Chase was there. The great and late Sam Simon, the co-inventor of The Simpsons, was there. Me and Britt Hatley. Me and Britt Hatley were there. Barbara Walters was there. Kelly Ripa?
Yeah, I like her.
And her husband, Mark Gonzalez, who is a Tampa boy, by the way. They were there. Jimmy Kimmel was there. Sarah Silverman was there. Artie was there. Again, Donald and Melania were there. And so, God, I can't think of anybody. Well, let me take that back. I was going to say I can't think of anybody that was at my wedding who I hate, and I have to completely, because, Spice Boy was there. Big Dick was there. A lot of people that did me dirty were at my wedding. So Howard has, said now that he doesn't even want. Not only does he not like Howard, but he doesn't even want people. I mean, not only does he not like Trump, but he has so much disdain for Trump that if I should be able to like Howard and vote for Trump.
Well, when we talk about a party that for the last 30 years has beat their chest for being tolerant to new ideas and other people, the intolerance is deafening. Now, Howard Stern, who, for all practical purposes is Jewish, and he's calling Donald Trump Hitler. Now,
hold on. I don't think you'd say all practical purposes. I mean, he is Jewish.
Okay.
Very much so.
Well,
and I mean, he's
a Jewish American.
Yeah, very
much.
much.
He's a Jewish American man.
A very
TJ Edwards for the Bears.
Hold on. A very, a very practicing Jewish man.
Right. And so he's calling Trump Hitler. Now, my understanding of Trump is that he hasn't done anything negative to Jewish people in America. He's done nothing but supported Israel's strength in the Middle East, including moving the embassy to Jerusalem. And his daughter's married to a Jewish guy. So how can you intellectually, in an intellectually honest way...
And his daughter is Jewish.
She's converted. Right. So how can you be intellectually honest and call Trump Hitler when he's done nothing but supported the Jewish cause? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Let me ask Seth this, who is Jewish. And there's no right or wrong answer here. I just want you to be honest with me. Which of the two candidates do you feel are more pro-Jewish with regards to getting this situation with Hamas and Palestine, and which party, not who you're voting for or who your mom's voting for or anything, just straight down the middle as a Jewish guy, who do you feel is potentially in the best interest of Jews as far as the two candidates?
As far as what's going on in Israel, I feel like Donald Trump is a guy that is probably has the right idea for it.
Might be able to get something done.
Well, yeah, he's about like going in there, getting rid of Hamas, and going from there.
Right.
So going from there is going to be getting rid of Hamas and going from there are going to be the two toughest parts. But I know Kamala's been trying to kind of play both sides and saying too many Palestinians are dying. Israel has the right to protect itself. We have to get a ceasefire.
So does that cause anxiety for your mother, who your mother is a very staunch Democrat? I love Elise, and politics we don't get into. But is that a struggle for her? Because that's just factual. Factually, it seems
I don't think anybody's going to turn their back on Israel at all. I mean, Kamala's married to a Jewish man. I don't think she dislikes Jewish people.
But it seems like the Democrats don't have as hard of a line, a definitive line in the sand, like potentially Trump. When you think of Trump, and maybe Elise will text me and set me straight on what I'm missing here. She has my number. Do so if you'd like, Elise. Where am I missing? And because it's my understanding and it's my opinion that it looks like Donald Trump might be more effective and swifter at resolving this situation that Israel has currently with Palestine and Hamas. It seems like he is less wishy-washy and more pro-Israel than the Democratic side, to me. And that's like me I don't have a dog in this fight, meaning I'm not Jewish. But,
I think it's tough when I've heard people say that if Democrats vote for Jews, they're crazy. I think it's along the same lines as when you're saying black people voting for anybody other than Kamala is crazy. I just think people have their own thoughts about everything.
And it's so bad. It's disheartening to know that we as Americans now have made. If you're a black guy, it's just assumed you're going to be a Democrat. And if you're a whatever person, it's just assumed you're going to be a Republican. And that we've really, really kind of stereotyped and lumped in different parts of our country, different subsects of our country, Americans, people that make up our country, that, because you're black, you're automatically assumed to be a Democrat. And I think that's part of the problem, is that people can't be they're supposed to be looped into a particular party based on their ethnicity, whereas it shouldn't matter. If I'm black or white or Hispanic or Latin or Asian, I should just be able to pick who I think is the best candidate. And all too often, if you're black and you vote Republican, they look at you like you're, a complete outsider. And it's like, I don't know. I think that's part of the problem. Also, that's part of the problem of only having a two-party system.
Which George Washington warned about, which Thomas Jefferson warned about,
Dwight Eisenhower.
They all warned us about this two-party system.
And
it's the demise of our country.
It's never been more prevalent that we need a viable third party, not one that's laughed at, not one that gets 10 or 15%, but one that people can gravitate to. And I think, and I could be wrong, I don't have Lummy, my fact checker here, but I think that one of the reasons why there's never been a successful third party is because we have what they call government matching. And I think that it only recognizes two parties in our government, Republicans and Democrats, and I think the government matches what the Democrats and the Republicans bring in, or there's government funding for the two parties where they help the two parties or they match the two parties' donations, and they don't do that for the third. So the third party can never raise as much money. doesn't have federal assistance or matching and will never have a chance until the government would say, hey, you know what? We're going to now, what we do for the two is we're now going to add it to the third. And the third party gets just as much help from the government as the other two. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think to a point, yes. I think they're going to try to squeeze out any dilution of their money by preventing any viable third party from coming to the forefront. And it's a shame.
Because realistically, if I take myself, if I was just to analyze myself, there's neither one of these parties represent truly how I feel. And that is, okay, I believe in abortion. I believe in abortion. I believe in the way I believe in abortion is pretty much the way Amendment 4 is written, and that is 24, 25 weeks, baby, is viable, which means it can live outside the womb. Up until that period, it's the woman's right to choose to do what they want with their body. That's probably more Democratic than Republican. I believe in guns. Now, here's where people are going to get really, really mad at me. I think that I don't have a problem with some gun regulation. Now, if you're like, oh, Bubba, man, the Second Amendment, the minute you start screwing with it and you start, no, listen, the Second Amendment was framed up by our fathers and by our founding fathers, and they had muskets and they didn't. But
Bubba, they had the guns that the military used the year before.
But what I'm saying,
any gun that was in the people's hands were guns that were used in the war. A couple years earlier.
I don't have a problem with some limited gun legislation. And if you have to be registered to drive your car, and you have to be registered to talk on your cell phone, I mean, you can't. I guess you can get a burner phone, and your car you have to have a license to drive, and you have to have your car. You just can't go buy a car and start driving up and down the road. You have to register it.
Things that are dangerous, you have to register traditionally.
I don't think that gun registration is that bad of an idea. That way you know where the guns are. And I think the government, I don't know if they have the right to know where your guns are, but I think it would make it potentially us a safer country. So, I mean, and I also don't think that the average citizen has the right to be able to own, like bump stocks and things like that. I think you could put some regulations on some guns.
What about grenades? Are you cool with those?
Flamethrowers?
Don't be soft, Bubba.
Flamethrowers?
If registered, I mean, so here's the deal. I'm a gun owner, and I wouldn't have a problem with having to register my guns because good people that own guns don't have a problem with registering your guns.
Some do.
But
some do.
Bad people aren't going to stop being bad people.
Mm-hmm.
So bad people who don't purchase guns legally, who aren't going to have regulations to begin with, are going to have easier access to getting a gun than a law-abiding U.S. citizen. I don't think that's right.
Okay. Again, I'm not saying, and there's not,
and we all deserve our opinions on it.
And this is just strictly my opinion,
right?
But and I'm not very now fiscally. I like the Republicans on not letting every Joe, I mean, not physically, but I'm sorry, immigration-wise, I think we need to close our borders. We need to make it very tough for you to get into our country. And when we do let you into our country, it's not because you're scared from where you come from. It's because you're a smart person and you can help our country. You're going to probably go on and get a higher education, or you have a skill set, or you're just an overall good people. We at least do a background check to make sure that you just didn't come from a Haitian prison. And we say no to a lot of people, and we let the good ones in. And we start a mass deportation, and that's where when these criminals or these illegal immigrants get hemmed up or arrested or whatever, that we actually physically send them back to where they came from. Okay, so, and again, there's no political party that matches my opinions. Abortion, a little bit of gun control, heavy on immigration, and then entitlements. I don't like entitlements. I don't like handing out free money for people that just want to spit out kids and play that whole, I get $689 per kid that I spit out. And, there's the Democrats tend to want to hand out a lot of free money.
So you're saying you don't like the child tax credit?
It's already there at $3,000.
I like.
There's already one.
I like it.
But they want it to go up, right?
Fine.
Yeah, to 6.
Let it go up for Americans who have kids. Sure, that'd be great. I have no problem with that. But because that'll pay for itself if we ship out all the illegals that are in here. If we ship out all the illegals and don't let bad people in our country, then giving more money to Americans that have children is not a problem. At all.
So, Bubba, you only want to deport the bad of the 20 million people that floated across the border in the last 4 years.
No, I think you give them. I think
you give 19 million and 900,000 a pass, and you just deport the bad ones.
Nope. You give them 1 year amnesty to go and register. And again, you give them a 1 year amnesty period to go register to see if indeed they would qualify to be in our country, and if they don't qualify, we ship them back. Now, the majority of those people are not going to go and even register or try to attempt. So when we finally do catch you, if we catch you, and there's some guys that will go on and not get caught and do work under the table and things like that, those people probably aren't going to be causing much trouble. But as we catch you, send you back, and you got a year to go register to see if we want you to be in this country. And if we don't, we're sending you back. And then at the border, we got it locked down, and we are actually actively interviewing and doing background checks on who we let in here. Now, listen, there's not a party that of all my beliefs, there's not a party that represents all my beliefs. In fact, it leans a little more Democratic, but I would consider myself, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump, but I actually lean more Democratic.
Do you think deporting illegal immigrants will create a lot of jobs?
No, because I think our current Gen Z is so lazy and have been so coddled that most of them don't want to work.
But if I'm like Dog the Bounty Hunter out there, if I get like $50, to find an illegal immigrant, like I'm going to round up 6 or 8 throughout my day and go turn them in.
Yeah.
Just for some extra cash. Some card money,
Kush bail bonds. We might be bounty hunters.
I would just say it could create a lot of opportunities for some Americans looking to live out the American dream.
I got a truck. We could put a topper on it. We could go round up, 8 to 10 a day at $50.
Or they pay us $70. Or they pay us $75 to stay, and we look the other way.
Yeah, right. See, I'll catch him, Seth, and then I'm gonna listen.
We'll talk to him.
I'll catch him, and then I'm gonna say, listen, you need to go talk to my buddy Seth, and he's gonna give you a couple different options. And then you go, listen, Pedro. $250 to me right now, and we're walking looking the other way. Or if not, we're throwing you back in the pickup truck and we're getting $75 bounty on you. So what do you got? What do you got for big?
I'll let you talk to your friends.
What do you got? Go talk to your friends. Tell them the deal we got going on here. And come back to me with either a lot of cash or get ready to load up. Bubba's got you at gunpoint already. I mean, you're already at gunpoint with the tie wraps. We're gonna have to get a big guy like a Rob Kahn, like somebody tough, because these immigrants are pretty squirrely. You know what I'm saying, Seth?
Yeah, but
some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are, not all of them.
Some of them are weak and famished from the long journey. But
yeah, exactly.
Actually, Seth,
some
Seth,
of them are short and fat, so they're easy to catch.
I got that fifth wheel up at the track, right?
Oh yeah.
We'll just pull that down to the border. We'll live in it, and as they come across, we'll just stop them right there. Like we're almost a processing station, but really we're a shakedown station.
We got to get this up and running, but you got to get ready.
So
but don't you think though? I mean, but Seth, I'm sorry. Don't you think that having 20 million extra people of cheap labor is going to help the job market or the economy?
I don't know.
I know it won't. And don't you think that 20 million families are going to need assistance?
especially Dan, these 20 million, they're all working under the table.
Oh yeah, for cheap. I mean, undermining the normal process.
Right.
It's like growing weed at home when you should be buying it in the dispensary under government control.
So I got a break. I'm running late. So listen, I wish there was a candidate.
It was RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And they destroyed him as an entity.
Because he didn't. Somebody look up to see if there's federal matching for the two-party system. Somebody look into that if you can for me, okay? Come back. We got to get into Diddy. Diddy got arrested yesterday.
Oh, it's all falling apart.
It's all like, you know how we'd asked a few times, man, what's up with Diddy? They invaded two of his homes on, at the same time.
A few months ago, right?
They completely upended, two big mansions, one in Miami and one in LA. They were taking out computers. They actually had some people handcuffed in Miami. They were just, this one girl said there's footage of him beating the crap out of this woman
Cassie
in a hotel, but they still haven't really arrested him. You still, and then the next day after the big raid, you saw Diddy on his dock in Miami on the phone.
Well, don't forget his crying video too that he released.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that.
So apologetic.
Yeah.
Can you get that to me?
Yeah.
Send that to me. I am okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll get into the Diddy stuff next. Stand by.
If you liked that segment, then you'll definitely like the new redesigned BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show after this.
Bubba Show. Hey, buddy. What do you want to talk about? All right, listen. You can either call back in 4 minutes or you can hold. Which one you want? No, you're not bug me, buddy. Lummy's not here, so I'm answering the phones. But why don't you hold and then we'll come right over to you, okay? All right, buddy. Thanks. Hold on. Hold on.
What's up, Big Leonard?
Are you there? Oh shit! I hung up on him. Damn it.
What's up, Charlie?
Are you there? Damn it! I forgot where the hold button was. Are you there? Hello? Oh, you're gonna have to call me back.
What's up, Cash?
All right. What the fuck? Okay, that guy's gonna have to call me back. Call me back, buddy. I'll get right to you.
What's up? Michael Ramos, Sr. Thank you, TNT 1560.
We're running four Diddy stories deep, Kush.
We are?
Yeah.
Someone's having surgery, Rudy.
Here, this starts at 105. Or this starts at 105, Bubba.
Okay.
The Diddy speech, I just IM'd it to you.
Thank you. And is that the Crying Willie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of remember this, but we need to replay it.
Keep it, but not open.
Just to...
You conceal it.
Hey, buddy, who called me? Call me back.
And one day,
I'd love to walk out with a big old fucking pistol,
you were
man.
made to chase your passions. We were made
Hi, everybody on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't get tan this weekend.
What up, Cash?
There's no sun.
Sorry.
Michael Ramos.
2 days after finally now posted an apology video on
Well,
Instagram.
son.
Okay. So that's 101 right there.
It was cloudy all weekend. I got like maybe a half hour for riding my bike, and that's it. Well, it's fall. I'll lose my tan and get ashy.
Slime love all the time. Slacks.
Man, I hung up on that dude. I felt so bad. He had a really good fucking abortion story.
Oh, man.
I know. And he said, I have a dog in this fight and everything.
I did not get any cards yet, Cash. They will definitely be in my desk area when they get here. Very good about getting mail to me, unlike the last regime.
I'm into basketball, baseball, wrestling. Football's too expensive. Football's just too expensive. Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I was president, I'd tell these people coming across, don't sell your shanties back in Nicaragua.
Thanks, Cash. Looking forward to it. Yeah, that Jordan baseball card's worth something.
Hey, Cynthia, I'm going to the baseball game tonight, the Rays game.
Oh, man, the season's almost over. It's
I know.
one of the last of the year.
How would you go?
Russ gave me tickets, and they're playing Boston.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, play tickets.
There you go.
Can't touch this. I'm bulletproof just like your sponge. Oh, you cannot touch this, Bubba?
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Listener supported via PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. All at the Bubba Army. Now returns.
I had a guy that called the show, 813-90-BUBBA, and he sounded like a pretty cool dude. I don't have Lummy here today to answer the phones. And he was like, I got an opinion about Amendment 4, and I got a dog in the fight. And I'm like, just hold on, buddy.
He's got an abortion dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, he must be going through something, similar. And I'm like, hey, buddy, just hold on. And I hung up on him because because I forgot how the phone system worked around here. I just hit the all X button, which I'm used to doing, and then I got rid of him. So, sir, that just called a few minutes ago.
It looks like someone's calling.
That might be him right there. Let me see. Is this the abortion guy?
I guess, Bubba, if that's how you want to.
Yeah. And I accidentally, I was trying to put you on hold, my friend, and I messed up and hung up on you. So I'm glad that you called back because I wanted to talk to you about this. And you said, when I was speaking to you off the air, you said, I got an opinion about Amendment 4 and that you had, quote unquote, a dog in this fight. So pray tell, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Just wanted to say hi, everybody. Great conversation this morning. Good to turn on the radio and listen to some topics that are important to everybody that can listen to you and in our state of Florida. So that's great. Amendment 4. So I honestly, abortion, I'm a registered independent, Bubba. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I really just kind of believe like what most people do, right and wrong, is good and evil, right? As far as the abortion goes, it's a woman's choice what she has to do or what she should do with her body to an extent. I actually had a daughter. She was born at 22 weeks. She now is 15 years old. She's a thriving sophomore at a local high school here in our community. She's involved in dance. She's an amazing person. So she was at that point. I mean, Dan, is 22 weeks considered preemie?
No, super preemie.
Yeah.
It's almost in the edge of viability. I mean, 15 years ago, a 22-week-old fetus would more likely than not survive.
But because of our technology, we are.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky.
Now we get.
We lost twins at 22 weeks.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Bubba, she weighed 1 pound 4 ounces and was 9 inches long.
Wow. Well, you know what? I mean, I'm glad that this all worked out for you, and you have a healthy daughter. That's great. Now, what's your dog in this fight equate to?
The limitations that we have to have limitations on. We can't just have abortions up to certain periods of time because there's kids that do have opportunities, like my daughter, that would have been had a right or okay for someone to abort that child.
Well, I think that's why the 22, 23, 24 weeks is. So are you saying we should scale that down to like maybe 18, 17, 18?
No, I honestly think it should kind of go up a little bit, Bubba.
Oh, okay.
So wait, abortion guy. You want to make the things like 26 weeks for abortions? Your argument doesn't make sense.
We just want to know what side of the fence you are because we're not quite understanding it, and we're I'm stupid. Dan's not.
I'm sorry, Dan. I know I'm probably not at your intellectual level to make you understand. I would just think that kids at 22 weeks should not be aborted. I think that number should go up, so children like my daughter could have a chance in life.
Well, no. You mean that number should go down? Sir, I think go down. The number should go down, not up. Going up means 26 weeks. Going down means 18.
I apologize. I meant the other way. Yes, sir.
So where do you think the number should be, sir?
What's your magic number? What's your magic number?
Yeah.
I don't know what that magic number
is. Well, sir, hold on. Sir, listen. We have definitively said that we think that the current Amendment 4 in Florida, which is, Dan, is it 23 weeks?
Where? In Florida?
Yeah.
It's viability. It's ambiguous, and so it's probably around 24 weeks right now.
All right, so
I think what people are agreeing.
So call it 24 weeks is what we're voting on with Amendment 6. And when we say you want it lower, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and your number is not going to be wrong. It's your personal opinion. You've been through this process a little bit. So and when we ask you what your number is, the answer can't be I don't got a number. You have to give us a number. Nobody's going to hold it against you.
I could say 18 to 20, Bubba.
Okay, and I could probably live with that. I mean,
I could live with 20.
I could live with 20. I really could.
And again, going back to the protocols of a pregnancy, especially a high-risk pregnancy, and that is that 15 or 16-week ultrasound, which gives you so much information about the status of the pregnancy and the fetus, and it gives the parents an ability to make an informed decision and have a week or two to execute it.
So 20 weeks. I could whittle the 24 down to 20. I could do that. I mean, I think that the majority of the issues, although Seth, you said you had an issue at 22.
We've lost 4 babies. I mean, we lost the 19 weeks, 21 weeks, and 22.
Wow.
But it's right at that 20-week period. That's really the point where a pregnancy becomes locked in, right around 20, 22 weeks.
Well, I mean, we were in labor and delivery for a while, and we were trying to get to the 24-week mark, but because that's viability. But when you get to the 24-week mark, they said it was like 10% viability, which we didn't even get to that point. So,
yeah, this guy's baby that at 22 weeks was probably like a 1% chance of viability. And she got lucky.
Yeah.
Well, and thank God for that, sir. Hey, thank you for your opinion. We're dancing with you. I could go to 20 weeks.
Sorry for the confusion there. I didn't mean to get off flim-flam there as I was trying to figure that out.
That's all right, bud. You know what? By what means do you listen? How do you get the show daily?
820, man. I'm old school, Bubba. I follow you around on the radio, man. Been listening forever.
I love
Pig,
that.
Hello, I'm Burning. Yeah, way back.
Are you predominantly a Pinellas or a Hillsborough guy?
Hillsborough County, Bubba.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, AM 820. That's the jam. I appreciate you, bud.
Thanks for Dan Diaco, Dr. Dan, too. I had to play with those last night, and they're awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
See you later. He had the what last night?
He was playing the songs.
Oh, he was playing this. Oh, the Dr. Dandy. I found one.
Found an oldie?
I want free Diacos.
The old free falling song?
I found that. When I was merging my iTunes together from my phone to my laptop when I did Bubba 199 this past Friday, and I was going to try to play it, but I completely forgot. Getting into the Diddy stuff, the immediate news is that Sean Diddy Combs arrested in New York after a grand jury indictment. So, Dan, is a grand jury indictment more towards the prosecuting attorney covering their ass, and it's another layer of like the prosecuting attorney, feels.
There's two ways.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So the prosecuting attorney or the federal attorney, by whatever level you're getting charged or by whatever your crime is on, whether it's local, whether it's state or federal, they obviously the FBI or local law enforcement at the direction of their prosecuting attorney or U.S. attorney have the right to go and arrest you based on knowledge that the prosecuting attorney or U.S. attorney has, right? They've done an investigation. They've found you to be a bad guy, and so they go and arrest you.
Yeah, they have reasonable suspicion.
So why do they sometimes throw it to a grand jury? Is it to further insulate their case against you?
Yeah, it insulates the prosecutor. And so the state attorney can file what's called an information by himself, thinking that he's got enough evidence to file the charges, or he can put it up to a grand jury, which is a group of like 20 people that often rubber stamp what the prosecutor says, but the grand jury would bring the indictment.
But is it more?
It's more insulated. It's cleaner.
Right.
It's cleaner. I don't know why it's so necessary though, because I've never seen really any case being thrown out because the prosecutor wanted to do it if it was a valid case. I mean, if it was a case like the Duke lacrosse thing, that was, there was no grand jury there, and that was just, a prosecutor with a vendetta and an agenda.
Well, that should have been a grand jury because that guy, I bet you when they indicted him, it was a grand jury. I bet you because who else is going to do it?
Right.
Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in Manhattan after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. Variety has confirmed. Combs' attorney, Mark Ganafio, shared a statement with Variety regarding the rapper's arrest in New York Monday. This was yesterday morning. The charges were not immediately clear. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs in the U.S. Attorney's Office. Boy, I wish some of the people that did things against me were presented to a grand jury, a jury of my peers, rather than just the U.S. Attorney and Mark Ober. The things that have been done against me. Instead of just being, I think a grand jury on both instances would have come back a lot differently. We believe is unjust the prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. The statement reads, Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur. By the way, none of this matters. I mean, none of this matters. Get to the root of what he did. Loving family man. You know what, Seth? Maybe that's where I'm wrong. When I get in all these scrape-ups with the law, I should just put all the good thing. When they introduce me, they don't say Bubba the Love Sponge, very philanthropic with the fallen law enforcement officers, gave an African-American kid who got his motorcycle stolen a brand new motorcycle, took care of a woman named Vera West, whose homeowners association said she couldn't have her cat in her home, and fought for her and got grandma's pussy back. I mean,
it's a little wordy, Bubba, but I love it. I mean, I think that you definitely went over the court of public opinion with that.
Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, lovely family man, and a proven philanthropist.
Yeah. That one.
He likes to give a lot to special causes.
For the tax breaks?
Exactly. He's got a registered 501c3 that he funnels all kinds of stuff through, who has spent the last 30 years building an empire. Adoring his children and working to uplift the black community. Well, it didn't look like he was uplifting the black community when he was beating the crap out of that girl by the elevators.
Nope.
And sexually assaulting the other women that have come forward.
He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. Well, I like that one. I think I might use that one.
We saw him do criminal stuff
Dan,
on video.
I read that they were supposed to arrest him today, but something happened, and they decided to arrest him last night in New York. And they also said, because we don't know what he's charged with, they said that's going to be unsealed today, whatever that means.
So that means they'll go public with it, and maybe they thought that he was going to leave the country because he may have gotten wind of it because he's probably got some inside
he's
connections.
Got jets. He's got the means.
Why wouldn't he be gone already?
I'd have been.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've been in Morocco hanging out.
You would have had
extradite me, bitch.
Where are some of the countries you can go to that do not recognize U.S. extraditions.
Well, I know that Morocco's one in North Africa. And
I'm in Morocco all day.
All day.
Isn't Russia one of them, too?
long.
Not that they
Probably
really wanna-
Russia's one right now. Exactly. There's a handful. and Brazil used to be one, but I think they may have recently changed.
How badass would it be if P. Diddy was Putin's best friend and Putin was like, you are not to come and get my friend. He does rap shows for me and my family
Exactly.
on the weekends.
He could have a better chance, I think, of befriending Kim Jong-un and maybe hanging out in North Korea.
And his goatee makes my ass tickle.
Okay. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide. He looks forward to clearing his name in court.
They took their time with this because remember everybody was asking what happened to Diddy, what happened? They raided his house, nothing happened. Well, clearly they got what they were looking for.
Right.
Yeah, clearly through the hard drives and just all the stuff, that they seized, they were able to get a little honey hole of a file, Seth, that might have, hard. It's hard telling what they found.
Did they want to put something together to where there was no way that he could be found innocent?
I think they have some really concrete evidence on him. And if he does go down for something like this, and it's, a lot of inappropriate sexual conduct with minors, do you think he's going to be in the Michael Jackson or the R. Kelly?
R. Kelly. I don't think that anybody is able to Michael Jackson themselves ever again in today's present day society, because Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and these places were not around when Michael Jackson was settling child touching cases. And the public.
We're not missing a whole lot if we don't hear Diddy's music because, it's really about Biggie. It's about Mace. It's about, Lil' Kim. It's really about the other people that he put on.
Earlier this evening, here's what Seth, this is what validates what Seth says, and I think something's coming. Earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the, SDNY? Or was that be... somebody state district, I don't know.
New York, maybe?
I don't know.
Southern District of New York?
Oh, yeah. Southern District of New York, which there's a lot of bad things that come out of there. We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we'll have more to say at that time. So, Seth, you're right. They said last night they're looking to unseal it, which means, Dan, they are trying to get it out to the public to bury this guy because it's bad.
Well, remember remember somehow when that tape got leaked, somebody was trying to bury him, and now it looks like this could be the final nail.
Yeah, and they want the public to know about it. I mean, very rarely does the U.S. attorney say, we got him tonight on a sealed document, Willie, and we're going to open it up tomorrow, baby.
And
right?
Is there any chance that this is about Tupac's murder?
A lot of people in the rap business, Eminem, a lot of people say that P. Diddy did it. Like P. Diddy.
He had a guy do it,
well,
right? Yeah.
Well, he was behind. He was involved in it. And maybe.
I mean, I think it's a long shot because he's sexually abused. He's accused of trafficking and minors and all this stuff. So I know it's a long shot, but I mean, I'm just thinking if they listed all the charges and then boom, at the end they go,
hey,
conspiracy to murder Tupac. Woo!
Here's a Tupac kicker.
Yeah.
Right? Here's a Tupac add-on.
The world's not ready for that, man.
Combs' arrest admits an ongoing federal investigation and a wave of lawsuits which most accuse him of sexual assault. Recently, former
Danity
Kane, a member of Dawn Richard, filed a lawsuit against Combs on September 10th, alleging verbal abuse, sexual assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. In May, CNN posted a 2016 video of Combs attacking his then-girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie Ventura. The footage matches allegations made in a lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year, which outlines an incident that occurred at the now-shuttered Intercontinental hotel in Century City lost. They shuttered that hotel?
I don't know, but he did his best Justin Tucker impression on her.
The two parties reached a settlement one day after the suit was filed. And then, Seth, they says that when Combs issued his apology, this was, I think, right after he had settled with Cassie, right?
I think so. And by the way, Blitz's PayPal account in YouTube is saying that he's up in New York, and the local news is saying it's going to be human trafficking. So that's our source right there on that.
Instagram. Take a listen to what he has to say.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses.
Let me ask you a question. How do you hit rock bottom when
you're on the top?
When you are worth nearly $1 billion? How do you hit rock bottom?
Well,
like,
I mean,
don't you have enough money?
You have a power and a drinking problem,
well, I mean,
exactly.
Don't you have enough money to surround yourself around people that can get you help?
Ask that to all of the superstars that died of substance abuse, including Elvis,
Matthew
Perry, the Joker.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, exactly. He was. Heath Ledger was literally on top of his game. He wasn't like a fat, timed out singer like Elvis was at the time that he died.
Me for a second.
No. I'm talking about like Elvis was way past his prime, whereas
he was fat. I mean, Elvis was fat and timed out.
He was timed out. And
whereas
but
Heath Ledger was
prime of his career.
Arguably had just delivered the role of his lifetime.
Right, and I was a huge fan of his, and he died in the prime of his career, and he was surrounded by a lot of people with money and power and influence and that cared about him. He was a commodity, and they let him to self-destruct. And so you can be at the top of your game and still be at the bottom of your life.
I like that. That should be a new t-shirt. I'm at the top of my game and the bottom of my life.
I mean, look, even being a billionaire doesn't keep you from.
I'm actually
being on the dark side.
The demons.
I have more. I have a lot of happiness in my life, and I'm virtually broke compared to what I used to be. But I'm happy. I've centered myself around better people. I got a better infrastructure.
You're a better person now than you were when you were on top financially.
Oh, absolutely.
You're a better human being.
I've been humbled, and I'm grateful.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
But it's 8 years ago. This is irrelevant,
for my actions in that video.
This isn't because of this.
No,
disgusting.
I know, but this is.
Well, I understand. It's footage of him, but he's not in trouble because of that.
I know that, Dan. But he's just be quiet for a second. Thank you. This is what he released recently.
In May or something, right?
In May, over something that he did in 2016, and he bought his way out of trouble. And he's only doing this video to try to even further get people to to feel sorry for him.
But it's weird. It's weird to have him sit there and apologize for beating up Cassie and kicking her and all that stuff, knowing in the back of his head he's also potentially molested women, trafficked them, and all these other things.
Yeah, knowing that that's just really the only one he's been caught on so far.
Right.
So that's probably why he's at his lowest and his darkest, because as he cuts this apology video, he knows that there's so many other demons that he's done that he may or may not get caught for. And
it's over for Diddy, man.
It is. Let me go into words. We'll finish this out on the backside.
If you want a deep dive into the Bubba the Love Sponge show from the past, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back after these words.
I would either fled or killed myself if I were him, knowing I'm gonna be in jail forever. Fuck that shit.
I mean, like R. Kelly, he's done.
Dude, I mean, knowing that you did that shit, I mean, and then knowing that they're eventually coming for you, I mean,
and having the means to actually have a comfortable life in another country
right,
like that,
right.
just do it. you know? I'd be in Morocco all day long.
Exactly. Just tell your kids you love them, you know, and
Have to come visit.
if they part ways.
Good idea, Gooch. Oh, man. Your mom gave me an explanation.
Good.
I told her thank you. I'm not going to read it on the air because I'm not. I don't want to open that Pandora box of. But she makes sense in what she says. I get it. And there's no right or wrong. I think both candidates are pieces of shit and don't know how much they can really get done.
You think Lummy's still under the knife?
He's probably right in the middle of it.
Is it a long procedure?
It's about a half hour.
They probably started it. They probably started
around
it.
7:15, 7:30.
Oh,
Probably wrapping him up now.
Yeah. What up, Hoss?
Lummy's probably still arm block Willie right now.
Oh, yeah.
He should be a healed and changed man. Gotta get him in that full body cast. Keep him healthy. Man, I would love to be so rich that I didn't even think that there would be consequences for my actions. I wouldn't commit any actions. I would just like to have that.
You probably would though.
Yeah, what kind of actions would you not?
No, I would not traffic. I would not traffic. Children or women. I would just, I would traffic baseball cards. Yes.
And maybe have some hoes.
You got called an exotic baseball card from Guatemala.
I mean, what's the point of having all this money if you can't fucking flee when the walls are closing in on you? What's the point of being a fucking billionaire? He was always a fucking asshole. Making the band, we all saw it. We all saw it for ourselves. It's a shame the way he treated Aubrey O'Day. What up, Johnny? Yeah, probably not going to get rich and start raping people. That's just not in my DNA. But
I was rich and I never raped nobody.
Yeah, well, that's just what happens. You get rich and
you get a little rapey.
Yeah. Poor Dylon, man. He said that shit ruined his life. He said no one took him seriously. Oh, fucking Diddy.
When the sign said long-haired freaky people need not apply.
The
Bubba the Love Sponge Show, listener supported via PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, all at the Bubba Army, now returns.
Need not apply.
Today's after show will be a podcast, Clem Kush. Me and Seth Kushner. And a very long going, like we've been doing Clem Kush for quite a while, haven't we, bud?
Started at my first go around here.
Yeah, did well, then you quit, and then you came back, and you ain't looking back. So, Clem Kush today, I don't know when that gets released. Sometimes Seth will hold on to it till Friday, or he might throw it up today. I don't know.
I want to start running it on Friday, but I think I'll probably put it up today.
Just keep in touch with all the places that you get your podcasting stuff. Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Apple, Google Play, all of that and more. And just type in The Bubba Army. I think Jay's in here.
Yeah, he's just walked in.
I didn't smell any high karate.
Give it a sec.
I still think that maybe you're starting to dial it in a little bit, so it's not so.
All right, Bubba.
No, I'm just taking.
You're taking a lot of sniffs.
Yeah, taking some sniffs, and I don't smell Dr. Joe's high karate.
Been trying to temper it just a hair.
I think you got it dialed in. I think whatever you did is perfect. Cause.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan.
I don't smell anything.
You don't smell anything.
Mm-mm.
Dan, is this like sometimes when you like on Mondays and Tuesdays, maybe on Fridays, when you guys are in here together for this, 30 to 45 minutes, is it sometimes the only 30 or 45 minutes that you'll see each other?
No. Well, I see him usually on Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. Those are the days I usually go into the office.
Oh, okay.
But there are definitely days like this one where I was out of town to go into FSU, and Danny and I haven't seen each other since Friday. So this will be the first. I have no idea what happened to him this week. You know what I mean? So yes, you're absolutely right.
Do you guys genuinely like each other?
We love each other.
Like that's my like when you look at that's my brother. I love him.
Mm-hmm. I actually love and like him.
I just got a waff of the high karate.
See, he just took the wind to get to you.
Yeah. Now, are you two the closest of the three? Because it seems like Steve has moved, just moving over to Daddy Joe's place. Seems like he might as well move to
Alaska,
Corpus Christi. You know what I'm saying? Like just that little bit of western. What would you say that was probably 5 miles west?
Not even. It's like 3.
Yeah.
4.
But still, he's now on the other side of the peninsula of Hillsborough County. You two are on the far east side. He's on about the as west as you can get side. And, do you guys think that that will affect you as many times? Like, Dan, you have to see Steve quite a bit now. Well, just prior to him moving over, you probably saw him a lot because he's your next door neighbor.
Right. I saw him 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Right. This might be good for for both of your mentals. Him not having to see you every day and you not having to see him every day.
Well, I get more phone calls. Hey, what are you doing? Working? What are you doing? Walking around in my shorts and t-shirt.
I'm on the back dock right now, doing some stuff.
Flip-flops.
Yeah.
Picking weeds.
Oh, guess Chris is right beside me. Oh, we never could have guessed that.
Are you on speaker?
Steve could literally call me from Fiji, and he would be like, yeah, me and Krista. That's his ride or die, is it not?
Yeah, it's connected at the hip.
Yeah. So, I think he's officially moved in.
Mm-hmm. His house is beautiful. You should see it.
He texted me, I think last Friday, and said, "Hey man, one of these days when you get off the air, you swing on by. I want you to look at the new crib." So I've not seen Jimmy Clevis's new crib. Have you guys?
No. It just got done, right?
He's still dealing with the old contractor issue. He's never done.
He's on a 7-year plan.
Yeah.
I know that it's not a topic that you bring up because he might, his ears might turn real red and kill you.
Yeah, I want to change topic after just what I said.
but I think he's close. I think Jimmy Clevis is close. And Jimmy, I know you're listening to the show. Once you finally get it all dialed in, your kids may be in high school, but once you finally get it all dialed in, we need to have a little, just the real inner circle get together over at your place. Don't you think?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he has a boat. Does he keep his boat now right behind? Is Jimmy boated?
Yes.
Or is he not boated?
He is.
Because there was a time that he was not boated.
No. And then there was a time where he was boated that he tried to pretend that we didn't know.
Well, let's not get into that because you know.
My blood pressure up.
Hold on.
That was yachted. He's no longer yachted. He's boated.
Okay. Hold on. But when he was yachted, you know who the big mouth was that got it all? I am. Yes.
I know you're one of them, but there's another guy who I'll just say it, DeMatty.
No,
That's the guy.
But I think Steve had heard it on my show because I was like, I got on the air. I didn't know. Jimmy never told me that I was supposed. There was a Spartacus
secret.
What was his boat called?
Spartacus.
No, what was your guys' boat? Vanquish.
Vanquish.
He never told me there was a Vanquish Spartacus rule. I didn't know that. Spartacus could know about Vanquish, but Vanquish couldn't know about Spartacus. Right? Am I not right?
Correct.
And so there was that rule that I didn't know about because I enjoyed both boats.
Because you went out on the Spartacus yacht tours, on the sunset tours that were incredible, that you have everything shall remain anonymous of what happened. You had those crazy.
But I also had some fun times on Vanquish.
Both at one point were equally as fun.
Yeah. And so I didn't know that you're not supposed to speak of Spartacus. It's like the Fight Club. You only talk. What's the Fight Club say?
Never talk about Fight Club.
The 3 rules. Or whatever.
Never talk about Spartacus. So I get on the air one day and I'll be like, "Yeah, man, we did the Bubba strip ship. We used Jimmy Clevis's boat called the Spartacus. It's down there at the Maximo Arena. It's badass. It's like a 60-foot gimmick. It's got like 3 bedrooms in it. I had all these strippers from Oz and 2001 and Dollhouse, and we got Bubba's strip ship coming up soon. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for lending your captain to us, and it was just great. We had a girl-on-girl scene in the front stateroom and the whole 9 yards. So then I get a call from Steven right after the show. He goes, "Hey, Bubba, the Spartacus boat that you were talking about on the air?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Is that Jimmy's boat?" And I go, "Yeah, it's Jimmy Clevis's boat." He goes, "Well, where's it at?" And I go, "It's on the last row of Maximo Arena." You go, He goes, and Steve goes, I go, "It's probably, I don't know, maybe 5 boats from where you guys keep your boat." He goes, "Okay, buddy, that's all I needed to know. Thanks." So I didn't know that, I didn't know.
I think Steve drove down there.
Oh, I heard from Jimmy. Now, Jimmy's not physically scared of Steve, but Jimmy told me he was scared of Steve that day. Steve came
wild.
Unglued. He said Steve came unglued.
Because it was years. It wasn't like, hey, where were you last night? I was, over here when you were at the strip club. It was years of deception.
And let's please make sure we preference by saying we're laughing at it now because it's funny now. It's funny.
Jimmy's our brother.
And yes, and it just the way it all worked out, Jimmy just didn't.
He's a secretive guy.
He didn't want to piss off Steve like he was trying to outboat him, and he just wanted to be. Jimmy's a very secretive guy. He's probably mad that I'm talking about this right now on the air. I'll probably get hit. Jimmy will get me in one of those special wrestling moves that I can't get out on. But anyway,
grab his ear.
Sometimes, but listen, when I'm with Jimmy, I can tell him. I'm the only human being in the world. I say, "Jimmy, you got to remain calm, but I'm going to grab your left ear because I'm into ears, and that's the way I show my affection. And I love you, so I have to grab your ear." And he's like, "I'm telling you right now, you can grab my ear, but if you go too hard on it, I'm not going to warn you. I'm going to smash you in the face." And so I'll just go and just barely touch it, just be like, ding.
Just to show that you have the ability to do it.
Just to show that no other human.
That's how docking porn starts.
Probably. And then Steve comes over because Steve's Mr. Know-It-All. He goes, "I just want you to know you're the only human being in the entire world that could ever even think about doing that." I go, "That's why I do it. Because Jimmy and I got an understanding, buddy." Sorry, Steve, about Spartacus.
Don't touch his hair.
So anyway, I want to go see Steve's new place. I really do. And we should have a party at both's.
Yeah.
We should have a little get-together at Steve's. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, have a little get-together. Well, 2 or 3 months later when Jimmy's is finally done.
Yeah, 2026.
Yeah. When Jimmy's kids are graduated and Jay's kids have started their careers, we can maybe. Who has younger kids, Dan? You or Jay? You do.
Me, really?
Yeah.
Well, our youngest are about the same age, and his oldest is a year older than mine. They're about the same.
Yeah.
All right, so his oldest, who's going to FSU, is a year older than Sophia.
Yeah, he's a senior. She's a junior.
Has Sophia started the college process?
Not at all.
Not at all?
I mean, she's only a junior. So
Yeah,
she
you need to
started to take
start
the SATs and
Yes.
doing the prep classes.
Is she doing that yet?
Yeah, she's starting that now.
That's getting ahead of it.
Are you helping her?
Mm-hmm.
What will she score?
Oh.
Will she score as high as Nick?
No one scores as high as Nick.
Hold on, not even you.
No.
Hold on, is it true that Nick had a higher SAT score than you?
Yes.
Yep.
He had one of the best scores in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Like literally top 2 or 3.
Did they remind you of her that day during family
No,
reunions?
you're the only one that reminds me of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, let's get into a little lighter topic, and that's P. Diddy in a lot of trouble. There you go. Hold on. Here we go.
I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
No, hold
That's
on.
an admission,
No,
by
no,
the way.
no. You were disgusted when you got caught and had to write a check.
Correct.
Bitch. And now you're disgusted when they arrested you yesterday, and they've already come out and said we're going to try to unseal this as fast as we can. So Seth, they got something juicy when the prosecuting attorney is saying we'd like to have this thing unsealed by morning time.
I try not to get caught up in too much celebrity stuff that doesn't affect my life, but I am very, very
You're
curious.
riveted to this.
I want to know what's being unsealed today. Like, are they doing
I heard
this?
you're going to Google and typing in P. Diddy updates.
I mean,
is
this going to be covered at all? Are they going
Yes.
live on CNN?
I got to think they're going to cover the hell out of this.
They were covering it this morning on CNN, Seth, and they are kind of putting a
I
spin
went and
on
I
it.
sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy.
Had to.
And go into rehab.
Check.
Had to ask God for his mercy and grace.
Where was God when you were touching these women and trafficking these people? Where was God then?
I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Meanwhile, he's doing it from a
Cassie
porch in
Vent-
Tahiti or Fiji.
All right, hold on.
For his team, they put out a statement. They do not buy this video. They say, in part, Combs' most recent statement is more about himself than the many people he has hurt.
By the way, is Cassie not stunning?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Bubba. She's
Stunning.
beautiful.
Like, she is stunning.
Listen to that
Perfect
for
word.
sure.
Beautiful. Isn't 50 Cent hitting that now?
I don't think so.
Was it before, or was it?
I don't know. Whoever's hitting it, man, kudos to you, kid.
Hurt when Cassie and multiple other women came forward.
Not a lot of women can pull off the short hair, and she can. Man, she pulls it off.
Well, she has a beautiful face. I
He
don't know if I
denied
use the word hitting
everything
it, though,
and
with this one.
suggested that his victims were looking for a payday. They go on to say that he was only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false.
All right, so Jay, we were talking about this earlier, and you're obviously an expert. What determines whether a prosecuting or U.S. attorney just says, okay, yep, we got enough evidence to go get the guy, go ahead and get him, compared to I want to throw this to a grand jury and let them decide? Are they just further insulating themselves, or do they think they got not as good of a case and it's a better case if the grand jury comes out? Like, what determines just regular, I'm going to step up and prosecute compared to giving it to a grand jury?
Usually the circumstances of how they get caught. So, for example, if a police officer catches someone running away from the police and smashes into a house and kills somebody, they don't need to have a grand jury convene to try to figure out whether to press charges against that person because the police officer witnessed it. But when you have these really complicated issues that are determined by federal statutes and there's multiple counts involving multiple years and multiple allegations, it takes a lot of time to compile the evidence, which is like Seth was talking about. I want to know what's in those safes. Well, we're going to find out. And it's going to be unsealed this morning because as part of the process of him making his plea
So they've had to. By the way, I got a text from Jimmy Clevis. He said, I'm boated and jet skied. Anyway.
Steve doesn't know about the jet ski.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Well, Steve's still sleeping. He sleeps till 10. So what I'm saying is, they all the stuff that they grabbed, the safes, the hard drives, the computers, the file cabinets, they had to go through all that.
Yes.
In order to be able to find the honey hole of badness, so to speak, and they obviously found something huge.
So there's probably there's probably multiple complainants, and those complainants have made certain allegations which allowed a judge to find probable cause to allow the search warrant, and then they get all the information from the search warrant, and then they look on the videos and the tapes, they find additional people. They find additional potential witnesses. As you've seen over the last 6 months, more people have come out and made allegations against him. And then they present all of that evidence to a grand jury based upon what charges they're seeking. And that's what's going to be really interesting about the unsealing.
Does each one of these witnesses, do they potentially JDIACO up? And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
they should. They're all going to get paid.
Right.
Every one of them.
I call that JDIACO. So they JDIACO up because half of the case is already done for them, right? I mean, the discovery portion of what P. Diddy potentially did to him has been unearthed by a federal agency. What's better than that? I mean, nothing's worth, Jay, than you having to go on your own fish finding expedition on discovery and try to find this and try to unearth that and look at these potential. But when the feds have already found the stuff for you, that's like shooting fish in a barrel, isn't it?
Absolutely. And in a perfect world, they can do the criminal action before you do the civil action, and then it's all served on a silver platter.
Right.
For
So then when you're going civilly, you're like, this judge, I don't know if you can bring it into evidence, but they've done all the footwork for you, and now you're just taking it to jury. I don't know that if you can use his conviction, if that's admissible in court. It may be. I don't think it is.
No, but you can certain times because, you are allowed to bring in convictions. You are allowed to bring in time served. It's, if you've been convicted of a crime involving dishonesty or false statement or a felony, it comes in. Not the nature of it.
So you can get that in.
100%.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I can't tell you what, but Mr. Combs
especially if he testifies.
was convicted of 5 felonies.
Especially if he testifies to impeach him.
I mean, that has nothing to do with whether he testifies or not, but certainly anyone who testifies is subject to impeachment. But, in this particular case, every one of these witnesses, like Casey, they'll be able to get her on the stand and say, well, you made millions of dollars, right? And so they oftentimes ask the civil lawyer to step down until the criminal case is over.
Right.
I've had a situation where I had a DUI where the guy killed my client, and the criminal defense lawyer reached out to me and asked if I would stand back until he could try to deal with the criminal side of it. And I said, I listened to him, I talked to the family, and I said, with due respect, I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Hello, who's this? Oh, there was somebody standing by. So that's completely on you. You could have said, sure, we'll stand down, but you probably thought that your case could maybe weaken the more you go down that criminal hole and they find a loophole or something like that. And while it's still hot on the presses, you're going to get it. You're going to go get yours.
And this whole thing could have been avoided if he had just paid Casey Ventura the day before she filed that federal lawsuit. No one would know anything about any of this.
Sean, again, the P. Diddy thing goes 3-4 articles deep. This is another one. Sean P. Diddy Combs ordered to pay $100 million in sexual assault judgment. In the latest setback for P. Diddy Combs, a Michigan inmate has won $100 million.
It's a man.
Has won $100 million default sexual assault judgment against the embattled producer and entrepreneur who has been slammed with multiple sexual misconduct allegations over the past year. According to Detroit's Metro Times and court documents, the award was issued Monday by a Circuit County judge following a temporary restraining order against Combs granted by Derek Lee Cardolo Smith, age 51, who it describes as Michigan's inmate known for a long history of challenging the judicial system with civil lawsuits. The lawsuit claims that Combs drugged and sexually assaulted Cordell Smith in 1997 at a party in Detroit. The judge set out a payment schedule of $10 million per month starting October 1st. So now is this guy, what's this guy in jail for?
His commissary is fun to be popping.
No doubt.
What's this guy in jail for?
I don't know why he's in jail at the moment, but I did see this, and I mean, why wouldn't he attend the hearing?
It says that this man is a convicted felon and sexual predator who has been sentenced on 14 accounts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years.
And the judge still gave him $100 million?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
I mean, that has to be some pretty convincing evidence against P. Diddy for you to give a child, a person that is, you're basically suing for what you've already been convicted of.
Well, it was 1997. That's 28 years ago, 7 years ago?
This man is a convicted felon and sexual predator who has been sentenced to 14 counts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years. His resume now includes committing a fraud on the court from prison, as Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served any lawsuit. A judge doesn't hand out or award $100 million, not without some real convincing evidence. Am I not right?
No. It looks like this judge may have done. I mean, if that's all true, that this is a guy from 1997 that has been in and out of jail for sexual misconduct, and we're going to now believe his word, that's insane to me.
The lawsuit states
statute
that
of limitations.
Cardelo Smith encountered Combs while he was working at a Detroit area restaurant. The two met a group of women at a party and were having sex with them. When Cardelo Smith says he felt a male hand touching him, which claims to be Combs. Hey, when you're having an orgy, man, sometimes you cross pollinate.
Do you?
I don't know. I've not really had a lot of them, but I'm thinking like if you got multiple women and multiple dudes, like stuff could touch each other.
Holy hell. Well, I mean, your hand touching another man's back. I mean, I get friendly fire, but this seems a little intentional.
He said Combs later offered him a drink, which was spiked and caused him to pass out.
This is the part that's
crazy. He said he awoke and saw Combs having sex with women. Combs allegedly said to him, I did this to you as well. Now, nice. But if that's all the evidence they have, that seems pretty loosey-goosey on behalf of a judge to give a guy $100 million in payments of $10 million a month for 10 months, and the guy that gets the money is in prison for sexual assault and touching people. To me, that seems like a summary, like a summary judgment thrown right out of court kind of deal. Would it not?
Yes. Yeah. But he got this judgment against him because no one showed up.
And just like what happened to Trump, just like what happened to Alex Jones. You got to show up if you're getting sued. It happened to a listener of yours that reached out to me a couple years ago. He didn't show up. He got sued. It was an excessive judgment. And then you got to deal with it. Show up if you're getting sued.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
You got to.
When I return, I'm late. When I return, Eminem doubles down on the Sean P. Diddy Combs connection to Tupac and the Biggie murders in a brand new song. Do you think, I mean, now P. Diddy might have that on him? Well, and Eminem is definitely rap royalty. If you look at the top, 6 to 10 rap gods that might know inside information on something so sacred and so coveted and so secretive as who really did the Biggie and Tupac murders. I'm thinking the Dre's, the Jay-Z's, the Eminems, the Snoops, maybe on the new school side of things, the Drakes, Wayne, the Lil Waynes. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking within that community, they probably kind of maybe know how it went down.
You don't put Vanilla Ice in that group?
Dan, I think it's time for you to leave.
But wait a second.
Did you just?
I was joking.
We thought you were serious.
No, I mean, Dan,
I was joking. But here's
the dumbest joke ever.
Okay, so here's my thought on this.
He's just trying to blow over that real quick.
Eminem,
there you go.
Morning Zoo on Z100.
You can ice baby your ass right out of the studio. With
okay.
like that,
Hold on a second. Dun, 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 dun. Let's keep going with it. So, but if Eminem had this information for the last 5-10 years, he probably was professionally afraid of P. Diddy. of Sean Diddy Combs.
Who, Eminem?
Probably respecting him and didn't want the blowback, but now that it looks like that Sean Diddy Combs has been significantly weakened by his legal status and troubles, that now that Eminem feels like he's a little bit more free to release some of this information.
Yeah, it's like, what can P. Diddy
What's he going to do now?
He can't get me thrown off my label. He can't get me boycotted in the industry. And Seth, I think we have the song. Is it called Fuel?
Yeah, he's had over the last, I don't know, 15 years maybe, he's exclusively made references to Diddy more than I think any other mogul or hip hop musician, and I think at least like 3 or 4 times has just flat out said that he's responsible for killing Tupac. And I believe that Dre and Snoop know. I believe they know because they were around Tupac back then, and I'm sure that's how the info trickled down to Eminem. But I was just surprised that he's never been sued or anything for pretty much accusing Diddy of killing Tupac all these years.
I think Dre and Jay-Z are the heads of the rap family, so to speak, one on the West Coast, one on the East, and they both know what happened. And if Dre knows, Eminem knows.
Big time.
So I'm gonna play that. Is it cuss? I mean, is there?
Oh yeah.
Is there an edited version? Probably not. Is it called? Eminem initially lobbied his claim at Diddy on Kill Shot, a diss record towards MGK, who was signed to Combs and Bad Boy Record. So that was like one of his songs he did back in the day was Kill Shot.
Yeah.
And this newest one is called Fuel.
Yes.
And it's implicating P. Diddy killed Tupac.
I believe so, yes.
We'll get to that next. Hold on.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Try to do that. That's all it's probably huge. I was saying it joking.
He also got sued by Queen.
Morning, Seth.
Hey Jay, how you doing?
I'm good. Morning, everybody. What up, Double XL? What up, Big Lunger? Or is it Lunger? I heard you trying to. Which one is it?
Lunger.
Lunger?
Yeah.
Does he do giant bong hits? Big
I don't know.
I'd like to know what's that mean, Big Lunger? Are you a giant bong hit guy? Johnny Z, Brian Gilson, what up, Big Lunger? Tell me what it's about. What's up, Hoss? Steve, the grumpy old man, how y'all doing? What up, Grouper Lips? Sicilian Redneck, how you doing, my friend? Chip Jones. Dr. God, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Drake's too young to know anything about what was going on before him. I agree with you, Doc God. SB, what up? Johnny Z, Fradley, or Fradley. What up? CDI. SBH88. BDB. I used to have an iron lung. I knew it! I bet you did, Chip Jones, but I wonder if Big Lunger did. Did he have a bong named LB, Lungbuster? What's up, my cat? DDP for life. How's everyone doing?
I don't wanna shag it up. I won't. We can just say, like an R-A-P-E-R.
I'm gonna start calling him OG Kush instead of DJ Kush.
I'm getting it right. Don't worry about it either.
Yeah, we can just say, like an R-A-P-E-R.
What's up, Southern Symposium? Nick. Yeah, I'm too I have a cup in my office to
I queued
remind
it up
me
on
every day.
First of all, that wasn't even
not
the
to do
song on
that
the page. I
again.
queued it up on YouTube. This is the exact part, and it doesn't cuss.
Okay.
So
The new one.
his new verse doesn't cuss. Yeah.
This isn't the old one. This is the new one that's out.
This is the one that just came out. Yeah, this isn't Kill
Thank you
Shot.
for getting it for me.
Yeah, no problem.
WSMFP. How you doing, buddy?
And we pinpointed it right to where we have to go through a bunch of bullshit. to
Taking
get
big
there.
breaths.
Yeah, just one verse. He doesn't
Steven can
cuss
be a
in it.
big, loud breather sometimes. It's kind of funny. He said it's for taking big breaths, Seth. Big longer. Everyone else is admitting to doing too many bomb totes. Pedro. How you doing, buddy? Oh, thank you. She is awesome. She worked for Pity for 20 years before she came over and worked with me. Everything's good, Parma except I missed that Gulf Coast session last week. Pity got it 5 hours. Unreal.
There's some real lyrical layers here to this verse.
It's easy for you to say.
You know, Eminem can't just say shit. It's got to be fucking super witty.
It's got to be perfect, Dennis Miller.
It really is. This is perfect.
Iron lungs. Exactly, Robert L. Everyone knew one in college. Schooner 6, what's up? What's up, Heather?
What's up, Rumble? Hi, Rumble.
Or if the whole world's out to get you, I turn you into a counterback too. Covering house with rousing you too. Man, got a sound effect too. Give sound effect too. I don't know if I
Wow.
But the most content on the continent. Consequently, it's gonna be confidence across concepts.
Oh, God.
I just saw Amy. What's up, Amy? There's Romina. And she liked me.
Really?
Romina hates me. More than anything.
The Orlando Content House, Shindig, it's going to be a bunch of dudes doing stuff dudes do. Happening November 15th and 16th. If you want to come see this freak show, email us, orlando@bubbaarmyhq.com. Let the crew know if you want to be registered for Friday Night Fight Night. orlando@bubbaarmyhq.com. The BTLS.
Next break, I'm going to have to show Jay the Bubba Army royalty ring. The way that I've been doing it now the last 3 years is I have the manufacturer send me a prototype with my name, like my ring. I have them send my ring before I go and order the other, hundreds plus rings. I have them send me a prototype so that I know that it's the right size. Because when you are looking at renderings and things like that, all too often something's a little smaller than you think, or it's a little bigger than you think. See, last year's ring I thought was a little big. Last year's ring was just way over the top. So, and we've never done a gold ring. We've always done silver. We've always done silver or black onyx.
The blacks are pretty cool.
So this year, to celebrate Dan's goldness, because Dan likes gold, we put we made a gold ring. A little bit more red in the ring, and then the Bubba Army, which Bubba's on the top and Army is on the bottom, it just doesn't say Bubba Army, but it's got like a cubic zirconia crushed diamond effect. And then on one side it says royalty with a microphone, and then on the next side is the Fat Man Dunks logo with your name. And Jay, the next break, I don't want to show it on camera, but I have my ring and what the rings are going to look like, and I'd like to show you. To see what you think.
I can't wait.
Seth, thank you so much. While I was peeing and talking to Dr. Dan, we were talking about the new song that Eminem has released that and you had stated, you being a big Eminem fan, that you've stated over the years he's touched on it and skirted around it and talked and sang various songs about his opinion of P. Diddy having something to do with the killing of Tupac.
Yes.
And his newest stuff that just, I think, got released, a couple days ago?
I think this album's been out maybe since July. August.
Okay. I thought it was a little bit sooner than that. But this is his newest, right?
Yes.
Right. And this particular song on Eminem's latest album, what's this album called? The Death of Slim Shady?
Yeah, Coup de Grace.
And this particular song is called Fuel. And Seth went and found the song for me, and the particular part of the song's 3:33, but Seth went and found me the P. Diddy part. So thank you, Seth.
No problem.
Here it is. This is Eminem's latest. It's called Fuel, and this is him speaking about what his opinion of P. Diddy and the Tupac situation is.
We can just say.
That's it.
So, kind of
basically saying I'd give more info out unless he put a hit on. I'm afraid to put a hit on me.
Right.
So he goes, I'm like,
Can just say, 'cause like.
Yeah. I ain't trying to beef because he may put a hit on me.
Diddy.
Well, he goes, I'm like an RAPER. So he goes, I'm like a raper. And then he goes, wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, Diddy.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
that's pretty good lyrics.
Is he lyrically, Seth, is he the greatest of all time?
Yes.
With just how deep and just how deep it gets. He's, oh my God.
Yes.
He is definitely, I bet any rapper would say, top 5 lyricist, at least, maybe top 3.
Probably number 1.
Could be.
We've had, let's not forget, we've had our good friend
Jay-Z's an incredible. I'm not a huge
Tech Nine.
Jay-Z fan, but he's an incredible lyricist who makes words rhyme that shouldn't rhyme together, and so there's probably a handful of them. But his go deep and dark and some cultural references, so he may be number 1.
Hey, Rhett, you know what, Rhett? I apologize. With the combination of microphones and lummies being down, I've had yours, I think, off the last couple segments, and I don't know if you've tried to chime in or not, but I'm certainly not mad or nothing at you. I just completely messed up. So you're up now, bud. I don't know if you've tried to chime in a few times and you've been down, but I'm a little messed up with my mic configurations are different today. Having my 2 mic down, I completely forgot yours. So I apologize, my friend.
You're good.
Okay, perfect. I want you to know that I didn't have you off because you made me mad, or nothing. I had you off because I'm an idiot.
He
Thanks.
wasn't on punishment?
No, wasn't on punishment. I got to play this again. This is so brilliant. But didn't Tech Nine say that Eminem's like the greatest of all time? And haven't Tech Nine and Eminem done a couple collabos? I think they did do.
I think they have also.
And I think that when you're on that level of music, and an artist like Eminem does a collabo with you, then that kind of shows you that he's validating you a little bit. Like, right? Like
Eminem just did one with LL Cool J.
Right.
Like it's
Did he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I think that the way it went down is, I think that when I had Eminem in here a few times ago, he was like, I'm sorry, not Eminem. When I had Tech Nine in here a few times ago, he was like, Eminem reached out to him to do something because Eminem was a big Tech Nine fan. I think Tech Nine's been around a little longer than Eminem.
Yeah.
And I think that, Eminem was inspired somewhat by Tech Nine, the story that Tech told. And he's like, one of the most unbelievable phone calls he ever took was from Eminem saying that he'd like Tech to appear on one of his albums or vice versa. And they worked on a collabo, and Tech was like, oh my God, here's a guy that looked up to me and he's one of the greatest of all times. How humbling. Is that not said? That is,
No, it's great.
So very humbling.
Diddy, yep, R.I.P. rest in peace, Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be.
I don't want to beef with him because he might put a hit on me.
Like Keith, and Keith is the guy that they currently are trying to charge with killing Pac.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more, just so you know, Bubba, on the new record also. He goes, the next idiot asked me is getting his ass beat worse than Diddy did Cassie. But on the Rio, though, she probably ran out of the room with this effing dildo. He tried to field goal punt her. She said to chill. Now put it back in my beep and get the steel toe. So he talks about that she stole his glass dildo. Which, again...
Made him mad.
And then another one, the Kel shot, he goes... But Kel's, the day you put out a hit's the day that Diddy admits that he put out a hit that got Pac killed.
So, I mean, it's
been going on for a long time.
Yeah. And do you think that within this unsealed indictment that we might have here, within hours, do you think there's a possibility that they found some information with regards to him participating in the killing of Tupac?
I mean, I think it's a long shot, but I think it would be I think to toss that on with everything else that he might be accused of as far as trafficking and sexual assault would be unbelievable.
And there's probably people in the midst of everything that we know so far, there's probably some hard I can't see how you would ever condone what he did, but you have the hardest of core fans. So with regards to what he did to Cassie and what he potentially might have been arrested for, as the thing gets unsealed later today, we don't quite know all the charges. But as long as there's not a Tupac thing in there, there's probably some people that are going to stand by him. There's probably going to be some people that say, man, you know what? This is a shakedown. This is this. This is that. But the deal breaker of losing all support goes out the window if there is a tie-in to him having something to do with the killing of Tupac. I mean, instantaneously, he is now the most, next to Epstein and next to Weinstein, he and maybe R. Kelly, he is he's the number one most hated guy in the entire rap world ever if he had something to do with the hit on Tupac. I mean, that's unforgivable.
Well, I think it's...
Didn't Tupac die before Biggie? It was Tupac first, and then Biggie for the retaliation, wasn't it?
Damn, I can't remember.
I think it was... Rhett, do you remember on that?
I wasn't alive, man.
I'm so sorry. I forget he's 25. Let me just ask. Hey, Alexa, who died first, Biggie or Tupac?
I know about 13 celebrities who have died since Sunday, September 1st. They are Eric Gilliland, Brian Truman, Ahutuba, Tim Bowden, and 9 more. By the way,
Alexa, stop.
Looks like Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac died first.
Tupac died in 96. Biggie Smalls died in 97.
Macho Man, we're not that far late. We're not that we're not late. We're not nearly as late as you're screaming to be.
We normally go on the break about now. I said break when you can.
Okay.
I just reminded you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
I got one more thing to clear. Appreciate you. Usually I break about 25, then 40, then 46, and then a quick see you later, bye. Danity, is it Danity Kane?
Yes.
I want to close out the P. Diddy thing. So yeah, P. Diddy, I'm sorry, Tupac died first, and then a lot of people say that Biggie was killed because it was a West Coast, East Coast thing, and that that Biggie was killed in retaliation of Tupac. Because it was at that point it was a West Coast, East Coast thing. Tupac was West Coast, Biggie was East Coast. Biggie was P. Diddy's guy. Was Tupac Dre's guy or Suge Knight's guy?
Well, yes, both at one point.
Both. So whoever killed Tupac, Dre.
They all know, man. They all know who. They know whether it was Diddy or not. They all know who did it.
Right, but. They went and got Biggie, though. Biggie was Biggie. This is like the Black Mob, the rapper Black Mob, in the fact that if you're going to kill one of our made men, we're going to kill one of your made men.
This happened so long ago too. There were no, cell phones with video cameras and all that kind of. It was a whole different world. There was no, red light cams and cameras on every corner. And so, if this is ever going to be, I guess, exposed for what really happened, it's who pulled the trigger and who paid him. So if there's anything in that safe that shows who pulled the trigger and that he paid them, he's got problems. If not, I think you're right, Bubba. It's a real difficult thing to go all those years back.
Former Danity Kane member. Was that a female group or something?
Yeah, he had a show called Making the Band, a reality show back in the day where he put this group together and followed them.
Yep.
So
Dawn Richards had filed a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, allegedly verbal abuse, assault, sexual battery, and intention infliction of emotional distress. The suit filed yesterday in the Southern District of New York describes a pattern of abuse and intimidation against Richard since she became a member of Danity Kane on the MTV's Making of a Band or Making the Band. In addition to detailing her own experiences with Combs, the complaint provides harrowing accounts of his abuse towards former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who set off a chain of lawsuits against Combs in 2023. The complaint portrays Combs as a hot-tempered abuser who would routinely engage in physical violence over the course of a decade. Richard claims that Combs manipulated her by suggesting that the only way for her career to advance would be heeding to his demands. The suit states that it wasn't until Ventura came forward that Richard realized that her own suffering had become normalized and was tied to Combs' abuse. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Again, the hits keep coming.
It's all after that Casey Ventura lawsuit.
Yep.
Everything's after that. And you got to think, Bubba, as someone who's been a lawyer for nearly 30 years, those kind of complaints don't get filed without a call made first.
Oh yeah, no. There's a call that you can make it go away.
100%. And so they're
called fixers.
That's right. So whoever his civil lawyer defending these things is that allowed that lawsuit to be filed should be fired. So that's the worst decision that can be made in this particular case with this particular guy.
I mean, because they could have the fixers who fix things and Pity's counsel, not Pity, you're Pity.
Diddy. Not Pity.
Pity. We got Pity. Anyway, Diddy's counsel certainly, didn't do him right because you would have had that. If we're writing big checks and we're settling, we're writing very, very strong language and contracts that you're signing that makes it you cannot discuss, speak, or share any of this information with any human being. And if you do, you lose everything we sent you.
Yeah, well, that video all of a sudden legitimizes people's concerns. Because without that video, without that lawsuit, without us watching him beat the crap out of her on a video, then we would never know other than he liked to have eccentric parties.
Right. They had raided this house and then they released the video. So it was somebody that was really trying to make sure that it all came together at once for his downfall.
Yeah, well, I think the video, though, as it relates to, I'm saying the filing of the lawsuit, because you're right, the video didn't come out till afterwards, but the lawsuit made those allegations, and then the video came out and confirmed everything she said in the lawsuit.
Could he have, had he not been arrogant, paid the freight, could he have eliminated that video ever being seen?
Well, the FBI and the feds would have never known anything to do. There would have been no $100 million lawsuit. There would have been no publicly filed complaint with the allegations that were so horrendous I wouldn't read them to my wife or daughter. It's absolutely mind-boggling, the things she said in that lawsuit. He paid $100 million on it.
And is still going to go to prison for life, probably.
Because he paid it a day late.
When I come back, we're going to little bit of footage of the whack job that tried to kill Trump. The sheriff of Martin County talks about how they pulled him over and arrested him.
And this dude was there for 12 hours, I guess?
Yeah.
The guy was there for 12 hours in Martin County?
No, he was there. He was waiting, I guess, outside Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, for 12 hours. For real?
He was in the bushes there laying in wait for 12 hours.
Wow. We'll get into that next.
If you love that segment, then check out BubbaArmyHQ.com and do a deep dive on past shows. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.
that, and that. Okay, and that's perfect. How do we just get to that? So is Trey all situated? Oh, I think he's gone. So it's just me. No, everybody. I'm over on YouTubes. I'm on the YouTubes. Hi, Kenny Powers. Hope you're not saying that I'm that dumb. Got my haircut. I got my big boy haircut on today. Okay, do I sound the same? Because these headphones make it like I don't sound the same. But I think I sound the same because I listened to a little bit of the show yesterday and I think I sounded the same. But, oh, here comes Seth for my backup. Here we go.
What's up? Ooh, email from Charles Schwab. I must have the wrong email.
He must have the wrong email.
Wrong email.
Iceland.
Thanks, Grouper Liz.
Antichrist. How come you can't be nice? Look who's talking. Brian from Family Guy. Who asked us that?
Got a guy throwing a shout out from Iceland.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
Iceland Mike,
I like
probably.
it.
I gotta poop.
Oh goodness.
So is Trey all situated for FSU?
FSU is harder to get into than Duke when Danny was applying to Duke. It's
What do you got, like a 5.0?
4.4 average with a 1450 SAT.
You gotta have that?
That's what the average is.
So what's that?
It's
What's that mean
ridiculous.
for Trey?
That means like 99% of the people in the state of Florida. It's a very, very difficult one.
I know. So does that mean Trey gets to go?
I don't know. He's applied. We'll see. He's
okay.
applying to other schools. I mean, we were just doing the on-campus tour. So, I mean, he's got Alabama, Tennessee.
Can't you blow in a call J.D. Acco style?
It's not quite like it used to be.
You get a letter though. Like
It
you
used
write
to
a
be
letter
like
for
that.
the admissions and that stuff. Will
Maybe. I don't know. I'll see. I don't know.
Can't you blow a call into the fucking? Hey man, this is.
FSU should get discounts because of their football program right now. They should be letting people in.
I
They
gotta
need to fill the
say,
student body section.
my kid's interest in it has certainly waned a little bit since the first 0-3 start. He's a little less eager to go there than when they were undefeated.
I get that.
And Alabama, meanwhile, is kicking ass again with their new coach.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Yeah. He's got a lot of fun schools. I mean, it's one consistent thing is fun. All the schools he wants to go to are all like.
Is USF on the table or no?
No, he doesn't want to be in Tampa.
Okay.
He said if we didn't live in Tampa, UT would be one of those schools he'd consider.
Oh, that's yeah.
It's a pretty cool school.
Geez, I still feel like USF is still like in Tampa. I still feel like it's another world away from here, though.
I have a friend who lives in Jacksonville, and his kid came down, was playing baseball at USF, and so for him, it's like a whole experience.
Yeah.
And for us, it's
Yeah,
if you're coming
It's
from
Fowler and
Jacksonville or
Fletcher.
something, then it's pretty cool.
and their campus has gotten much cooler over the last 15.
But
20 years.
USF or UT?
USF.
Oh, yeah, USF 's
UT's always had a killer campus.
people want to go.
But you know
to
what?
USF.
UT, man, they got a badass campus.
It's beautiful.
And they're right in the fucking thick of things as far as shit to do.
No doubt.
Yeah, a bunch of kids jaywalking on their fucking cell phones, not looking. I've almost hit them all.
A bunch of hotties. Bunch of Massachusetts bitches whose mom and dad got a ton of money.
Bad idea.
Jay, how much is it to get? Is UT expensive?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, because it's a private school, right?
I'm gonna guess just based on what I know from other
60?
schools. I bet it's 65. I'll look it up right now.
a year?
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
So if your kid doesn't get any, you just gotta write that check.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Oh my god.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show, listener supported via PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. All at the Bubba Army now returns.
We were just talking about Jay's eldest son, who will be entering college next fall, a year from now, 10 months from now. And he has applied it. Well, he went to Jay's, alma. How do you say that? I always
alma mater.
Yeah, I always mess
Sorry,
that up.
Jay,
Yeah, FSU, and Jay is now telling me that FSU is like as hard to get into as like Duke and things, and like 99%. First of all, FSU has always been that state college that, like, if you were a byproduct of Florida and you were born and raised, and that was the school that kind of had to take you.
Well, if you got good grades and you did a good solid score, then you should get in as a Florida State resident.
Yes.
But now it's 25% acceptance rate, and they got nearly 70,000 applicants last year.
And so, listen, we were talking about earlier. So we were talking about then we went into University of Tampa, UT, and how that campus is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of a smaller school, but God, it's really, really a beautiful campus. It's right in the middle of downtown Tampa. It's close to everything that's cool. I mean,
just like the college girls scurrying in the road every now and again.
But I'm just saying, like, Seth, if you went to the UT and you had rich parents and you were a hockey fan, you could walk to every Lightning game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think USF, UT. I mean, a lot of these Florida schools are destinations people in other states want to go to them now.
Yeah,
but Jay was saying that UT is about $60K a year. If you're
that's all in. It's about 35 for the tuition itself, which is very reasonable actually for believe it or not.
If he's gonna, if your guy or your girl's gonna live in the dorm and get on the food program, and all in, are you looking at 60?
Oh yeah,
50, 60,
50 and 60.
So
for sure.
if you don't, if you don't get a grant or a scholarship, does that mean Pops has got to scratch out that check?
Sure does.
$50K?
Sure does.
That means you want to listen.
Jay, what would be more? What do you think would be more beneficial for Trey? Getting his diploma, or you giving him the $200,000 that would be what you would pay for his college, and telling him to, start a business or do whatever he thinks is best with it?
Well, that's a good question.
It is, and it depends on the kid. If you have a kid that's not academic, then maybe you could help him start a business like an electrician or a plumber or some sort of a trade, really good trade.
The first thing you do is, if college wasn't him, then you say, listen, you're going to go to a trade school. Right?
Learn a trade.
And I got to tell you, man, Seth, a kid could go out and learn to be an electrician or a plumber or an HVAC guy, and go to a trade school. I think they're for a couple years, and I know plumbers. I know. Not Larry, but I mean, I know plumbers that are in the plumbing business that are paying $37 an hour for, guys right out of trade school. They'll give you your own truck. You're going to run your own route. You're going to make $37 an hour. And after 2 years, he's going to start cutting you in on percentage of profits. And he can't find anybody that's qualified or that wants to work.
Because they took those types of classes out of high school. And so a lot of these poor kids that aren't academic that have been pushed into colleges, which is Seth's point, college is definitely not for everybody.
No, it's not.
But some of the most wealthy guys and gals that I know are in the construction industry, asphalt, roofers, builders, people that do things with their hands. They're not all professionals.
Let me tell you two names, Fabrizi and Jimmy Clevis.
I mean, for sure.
I mean, Fabrizi owns I heard that he had a $65 million offer to sell his roofing business and didn't take it. Jimmy Clevis, I mean, I don't know that Jimmy was a college guy. He went right to work for his dad, managing real estate, commercial real estate. Yep. And Jimmy is that guy officially. Jimmy might end up, after it's all said and done, being the richest of all of our friends.
Yeah, and when it could be. And you know what? When I have a real estate law question, I call him first.
And because
he knows from 30 years being in the industry from working hard. Now, that guy's just as smart as anyone I know who's actually got a law degree.
Sure.
So it just depends. So,
He's read more commercial contracts. He knows about the triple nets. He knows about the cam fees.
Right.
He knows about it all.
See,
but
now
here's the deal. You have your kid. He's not a college guy. So you have him go to trade school. He learns a trade. And, I mean, Seth, he's coming out making $30, $35 an hour right out of trade school, sticks with it for a couple years, then splinters off and does owns his own electrical company or his own HVAC. And, obviously you as Jay or whoever was the father, who's a smart businessman, could help him, incorporate.
Help manage it.
Help get him started on owning your own business. And boom, that kid, that guy is going to be successful if he gets up every day, puts his boots on, and goes to work. He's good, and the problem is the laziness. Some kids feel entitled. Some kids feel that there's our younger generation doesn't necessarily have the same work ethic that we do.
There's a sense of entitlement. I call it like the fast food mentality. I want it and I want it now, and if I can't have it now, then why not? I'm entitled to it.
Is that what every generation thinks, though? Is that the generation after them is
Generation X never thought like that. We never were like, "Hey, give me something." We weren't victims. It wasn't like that for us at all.
I don't think my mom. Listen, at 18, I left, and I never came back. I never asked for a loan. I never asked for help. There was a couple times that I had to come back in between jobs and live with my parents for about 30 days.
Well, that's going back.
Going back is 2 years. Going back for a month or so is not really.
So
going
it's like
back.
staying at a hostel. I got you.
Listen,
it is like staying at a hostel.
My first job was at 103 PFR. I went to KTF. I'm sorry. I went to 98 WGRD in Grand Rapids, and I got fired the day after Christmas. Okay? Well, I broke my lease because I'm not going to sit here and pay whatever the hell I was paying. My mom was only 2 hours away in Indiana, and I already had KTFM looking at me. I sent them an air check. It was back. Remember back in the day, Seth, when you would send an air check out to a
I sure do.
Yeah. So I send KTFM an air check, but it's the radio industry pretty much shuts down through Christmas. But the program director, Big Dog Hayes, called me up, flew me to San Antonio on January 3rd, offered me a job, and gave me 2 weeks to get down there. For that 3 or 4 weeks, I stayed with my mom.
Hey man, it's cool. I never went back even for a snack. But that that's me.
But I've never I never took a $1. I never got a loan. I didn't do anything like that. And so my mom never had to, when she was talking to her little friends whose children were my same age, the Mrs. Plumbers and people like that, never was the topic about we can't get Larry or Bubba out of bed to even want to go work because they're playing video games or they're doing. It was, it was expected for you to work.
What if you had the internet back then, Bubba, with porno? You would have never been out of bed.
Well, I had VHS tapes. I could sneak downstairs, watch one, run one, and then hide it.
But you may not have graduated from college, but you were expected to go.
Yeah.
And you graduated from high school, you took the SAT, you did what was necessary to get into a college. And so that was what was expected of most people. And so what's a shame is I paid for Florida prepay for this kid in 2007. Okay? That means I would get Florida State tuition for free. And now, no. So it's part of me, and I hate to sound conspiratorial, believes that they make it more difficult for kids to get in now because a lot of us paid for their schools. And guess what? I get to have like a $12,000 credit when he goes out of state,
right.
maybe. Yeah.
So
how about that?
It's a big shakedown.
It was a scam?
I have 4 years paid for, prepaid. All done.
Trey should have any state college.
What's the only way to get that? What's the only way to get that money?
Well, I get it back, and I think it's worth like $12,001 now.
Oh, man.
But like, our generation wasn't ever about getting a job. Our generation was about getting a job or going to college, but then after college getting a job. There was never an option about,
staying after high school. It was you're getting out at 18. You're either getting a job or going to college.
Right. There was no you're 25 and you're still living at home. There was none of that. By the way, here's the Martin County
This was interesting.
Sheriff's Department. This is the agency that pulled over the guy that tried to kill Trump, and he gives us some more detail than we had before.
About 2 miles to get all the resources in play so we could surround that vehicle and force it to a stop.
How was he driving when your deputy saw him?
How was he driving when we saw him? He was smart. He was just driving with the flow of traffic. Yeah, I think that he may have thought he got away with it.
He wasn't going 100 miles an hour, weaving in and out he was just driving like this guy said. He thought
he was off. He thought he was like,
he's like, I'm headed to Georgia,
going
baby.
back to North Carolina and do some roofing.
Yeah,
he couldn't have known that there was a witness who really did the right thing, took a picture of him.
And you know what? That witness, I don't know that we'll ever know who it is, but my Lord, that witness probably saved Donald Trump's life.
Well, you know what it is?
Well, it didn't save his life because the guy had already been shot out.
We caught the guy because of him.
Yeah, exactly.
The Secret Service is out there patting themselves on the back, but if there hadn't been this one good Samaritan who took this photograph, we'd know nothing about this guy, and he'd be in North Carolina with a hammer on a roof.
Or already in Hawaii.
Correct.
You think he would have made it? You think he would have been able to escape?
No, they didn't know who he was, though, Seth. If it hadn't been for this, literally, this witness took a picture of his license plate, and then they put his license plate.
Had they not had that information, he probably wouldn't have got caught.
Well, they have license plate scanners now, Seth. So they literally scanned his plate, found out where he was. When they figured out where he was already 45 minutes north of Palm Beach.
I don't know anything about anything, but why would you not want to have like a drone maybe that can survey your whole property and you look at everything? I don't know.
Well, because they're already saying that they're not giving as much as much power and as much security to Trump.
That's what the sheriff's saying.
He may have thought he got away with it. Of course, he couldn't have known that there was a witness who really did the right thing, took a picture of him, took a picture of the tag. And he was just going to drive himself back to wherever he came from.
Did he have to your knowledge, any ties to Martin County or the Treasure Coast?
Yeah, to my knowledge, does he have any ties to Martin County? I think the answer, to my knowledge, the answer is no, I have no knowledge. I think what we're finding out is he's not from this area, which of course raises the bigger question is, how does a guy from not here get all the way to Trump International, realize that the former president of the United States is golfing and is able to get a rifle in that vicinity? I think that's the question the FBI, the Secret Service are laser focused on today. Is this guy part of a conspiracy? Is he a lone gunman? If he's a lone gunman, President Trump is that much safer because we have him. But if he's part of a conspiracy, then this whole thing.
Now, you know that potentially there's a conspiracy when you have the highest ranking lawman from the agency that arrested this guy bringing up the possibility of this being a bigger situation than just lone gunman. Listen, a journalist or a radio show host or just anybody, Jay, a lawyer, we can speculate all we want. But when you got a guy that has this much potential intel and has had hands on this guy and he's bringing up the potential of a bigger thing, I think there might be a bigger thing.
But if there's a bigger thing, Bubba, don't you think that they would actually hire the right people to do the job? Not necessarily.
The bigger thing consists of not protecting Trump like you need to, so that somebody can clip him.
Like this guy had tile in his backpack. Like I kind of feel like he was on his own. If he had somebody to kind of bounce things off of, maybe he would have just gotten a bulletproof vest or something. I don't know.
But to travel as far as he did and to get that close. Like, for instance, the Butler, Pennsylvania guy, he was from the area. It just happened to be that Trump was coming to his area. He's like, okay, this would be a good time to take out Trump. He acted on his own. The conspiracy there is we're leaving various open windows open for people to figure out how they can take a hack at Donald Trump.
That is definitely, there's two, I would say, concerns out there, which is, one, how could the Secret Service allow there to be an area which has would have had in about 5 minutes, a direct line of sight to the president? That's a Secret Service issue. And why do the Secret Service, I mean, Ty J. Armstrong can fly a drone with the best of them. Why don't they have a drone guy that's constantly droning the area? And I mean, the kind of drones that the public can buy and the kind of drones that the military and that the government can have. I mean, they have some way. They have heat body sensors. They could have seen the guy in the bushes with the drone.
Why don't they have two drone guys completely droning the entire golf course ahead of Trump, behind Trump?
No, just 24/7. I would just have the whole area.
And they didn't even do a sweep of the golf course before he started playing. They were doing one hole in front of him, which is pretty sad.
Much like the lack of sweepage, if you will, on the Butler situation.
Correct. And then what was also very interesting is the other question is, so you have the lack of security and the terrible protocols of the Secret Service, but then you also have this guy. Now, this guy had a Harris sticker on his truck. This guy has gone to Ukraine. He's gone to Hawaii.
This guy
He's been
has
at
donated
DC.
19 times to various Democratic
Right, and so I'm not saying it's a Democrat thing, but what I'm saying is this guy has contacts to the Europeans and to the Ukrainians, and he's been so pro-Ukraine that he tried to go over there and fight for the Ukrainians, and they said, you're a 56-year-old dude. We don't need 56-year-old dudes with no military training. They reject him, and then he said, okay, I'm going to try to get hundreds of thousands of people here. So this is a guy that hates Trump for political reasons that killed him because of his Ukraine policies. And so, yes, it warrants looking into.
It might be a part of a bigger, and when you got, listen,
but I'm right. You know what?
When you have the sheriff of the arresting agency that probably had him detained for a little bit and maybe asked him some questions. I don't know if they just picked him up and then the feds immediately grabbed him. I don't know the protocol of his custody, but I mean, maybe, and then you have the sheriff that's bringing up possible bigger conspiracy theories.
Well,
not Johnny, column writer, not Sean Hannity, not Jesse Waters, but the sheriff of the arresting agency bringing up potential conspiracies. I think you might have something there, maybe.
Well, and do you remember after the first one, they're like, lone shooter, lone shooter, lone shooter. You heard that from the very beginning. You don't hear that here. I haven't heard the FBI say that. I haven't heard the Secret Service say that. I haven't heard one government official say this was a lone gunman. All they're saying now is we got to investigate. That's a big difference after the other shooting.
This is footage, and I got to go to words, of the actual pullover of him getting pulled over on I-95, 45 minutes north of where he tried to take a hack at Donald J.
Jeez, what kind of gun does that guy have?
A big one. Hold on.
Look at that thing.
This guy's got a gun that's only available to agencies. This guy's got a gun. This guy's got a gun that I don't think most guys like me and Jay that are gun enthusiasts can go buy. I don't think these are available to the public.
Looks like,
but it looks like something I've never seen before.
It's incredible. I don't even know.
I want one.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
Keep that long.
Man, they got the dog. They got, they're not playing around here.
If he's part of something bigger, why wouldn't he say something? Like I'd be spilling it in jail, and then put me in witness protection.
That's why they wouldn't pick you.
You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com.
Right now.
The Bubba the Love Sponge show will be back after this.
Analyst and not this FBI?
No, you're right. I saw him.
That's
actually
true?
right. Yeah, he was on the news last night, and he said that he doesn't have confidence in the federal government to give us the answers, and so because it happened in Florida, that he is, no matter what, going to do an investigation into the circumstances surrounding it, as well as who this dude is.
Is Trump cool with that?
Yes.
Okay. No,
here's the whole thing here. What he said was, he's like, we have the Justice Department filing an appeal to try to put this man in jail, and it's the same Justice Department that's going to do the investigation. We'd like to do our own.
That's fast acting on his part.
Yep.
I'm glad that was true. I couldn't find it anywhere else other than Twitter.
It was on, I think if you looked it up and put the word Fox News in, it'd probably come up with the interview I saw. I don't know if it was Sean Hannity. I think it was Sean Hannity.
Well, he'll probably get answers fast then.
I hate to say I trust government, but I trust his investigation more than I trust the investigation of the people trying to put Trump in jail.
Yeah, I don't think.
That was his point. Is like, do we trust the same agency, same dudes?
I think you could trust DeSantis. I don't think he has anything to really.
No, I don't mean him. I'm saying without him, it's if you were Trump, you're like, wait a minute. The same people that are trying to put me in jail are going to investigate this, and it's the same people that have put me in this situation, exposed twice in 2 months. I would want someone else investigating it for sure. Now they're going to try to make him not golf. They're going to try to blame him for it. He shouldn't do any outdoor rallies.
They're going to have to fucking build the wall that they're going to build around Mexico around his compound now.
Build that wall.
Dude, I just don't understand how, like, we rely on so much technology, but, like, they have to eyeball a guy in a fucking tree to like, see if he's a threat. I feel like if when a guy pulls up on property, I feel like it should be alert somebody. I don't know.
And apparently, Seth, this portion of the golf course, for decades, has been a place where paparazzi post up to take pictures of Trump. So it's not like everyone doesn't know. You could have put a crossing guard there. You didn't need an FBI agent. Put a wall.
Man.
Little Highway 73.
You know Trump has an indoor golf simulator, but he wants to go outside. You know he doesn't want to stay inside.
No, he wants to go out, man.
Have you seen that thing of him shooting 50?
No.
With DeChambeau? Oh my, it's the most interesting.
Oh yes, yeah, I did see that video.
He's a lucid, intellectual guy, so interested in the moment of the golf stroke and listening to what that guy had to say. And his stroke for a golfer, it's unbelievable. He hits it perfectly straight every time.
Trump?
Yes.
Yeah, I can attest from being at Topgolf, it's really not easy. Really not easy to hit a golf ball. I can hit a baseball, but golf ball's tough. But he rips it.
He went inside DeChambeau a couple of times where they ended up playing his balls, and they ended up matching the best ever 50.
Oh, Jay, look, they canceled their tour. You barely got to see them.
I know, and they should have. He was such a bitch. I can't even believe it.
I think he's got a big time drinking problem.
He does.
Man, poor people that were wanting to see those guys one last time.
It was a great concert.
But you'd be pissed if they canceled a week before.
I would. But you know what? I lost respect for him during COVID because he used to be the anti-government guy, and he used to be, this independent thinker.
Oh, yeah,
he has this line, the gang and the government are no different. That makes me 1%. And so now he was like, I don't want to be around anyone who's not vaxxed. He was one of those bitches. I can't. I almost had trouble paying to go to his concert. I just don't want my musicians telling me what to do. I don't want anyone telling me what to do, especially not Mamala.
Oh, Mamala.
I showed that to my office. They were crying.
You know she grew up in a middle-class household, right, with her mom?
Upper middle class.
Did you hear? I don't know if you guys.
The people are community.
In Canada.
People in their community cared about their lawns.
Well, you're from Warsaw. That's where lawns are important, right?
I mean, listen, she may not win, but we'll know her story better than anything.
I'll be honest. Back when I was a kid in Orlando, they had the best lawn of the block award for like the month.
Did Larry care about that shit?
Well, we never won.
Larry didn't give a fuck.
We had dirt about that.
Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Listener supported via PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. All at the Bubba Army. Now returns.
Clem Kush will record it today. Probably will go up today as well. That's after the show today. It'll be a podcast only. It'll be me and Seth Kushner. Oh, Seth, do you think? No, you know what? The microphones aren't. We had to order some different microphones for podcast land because the ones that we bought were junk and refurbished.
Yes.
I should have never tried to take the refurbished route. So I just went and bought two black microphones that match my microphone, and my microphone I'll just take up there and use when we do that. But otherwise, today we could have maybe debuted, that. Maybe done it from there.
I guess, but if we're just doing audio,
Yeah, it's true. If we're just doing audio. But, maybe you and I need to do video from up there.
I think we do, but I think it needs to be, I think that needs to be guest-centric. I don't, so that's something I'm working on. I'm working on like 7 podcasts and trying to book guests.
Perfect. Thanks.
No problem.
So this guy named Chitwood, he is Mike Chitwood. He is the sheriff of Volusia County. And there was this kid, I think 11-year-old Carlos Kingston Durali, showed his arsenal to classmates and threatened violence.
He had like a kill list, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a kill list. And here is some of his arsenal. This kid's 11.
11?
This kid's 11.
Oh, I think he's got one of the Bubba Army knives.
They're not even out yet, bitch.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
But I mean, as a parent, how do you not know that's in their bedroom?
Yeah, exactly. That's called lack of parenting. Chinese stars, knives, guns, extra magazines, a ammo box.
An ammo box.
Yeah.
I mean,
so this kid shows this on social media, says some threatening stuff, and Mike Chitwood said, okay, we're going to go ahead and arrest that guy. He's 11. We're going to arrest him, and then we're going to usually our society is like, hey, he's 11. Let's go ahead and make this a juvenile private matter so he's not exposed. He's not the lead story on the TV. When they arrest you,
got a mugshot.
Well, dude, this is not the sheriff like in South Florida. He didn't let them come up on this kid 11 times or 30 times before he shot up a school. First time,
right?
No, it's zero tolerance.
Usually most agencies are like, listen, we're going to try to protect the identity of juveniles, and so we're not going to perp walk them. Every agency has the ability to do what they call the perp walk, and that's when they arrest a bad guy. They call the media, and I got perp walked. I got perp walked. They told me and Brent Hatley, you got to turn yourself in to the Orient County Jail by 8 o'clock. They had told the media that we will be there at 7:45. Bubba turning himself in to the Orient County Jail. He'll do it before 8 o'clock. They go and set up. You're like, man, how did they know I was going to be here? Well, because the agency tells the news media. So usually with kids, they try to protect kids' identity. They just do. And this guy, this Mike Chitwood, the sheriff of Volusia County, goes, if you're going to be a little punk-ass kid and you're going to threaten your classmates with this type of arsenal, I will, and in his press release, he says, I will perp walk your kid. So if you want your kid to be perp walked so that everybody knows that your kid's a piece of shiz, go ahead, F around and find out. Stop being a good parent. Stop knowing what your kid's doing. And go ahead and be that lackadaisical, lazy parent, because I'll perp walk them just like I did this kid. They even put him in leg shackles. Check it out.
All right, sir. Carefully as you can. You're going to be walking over here to the gate over here, all right? Slow and steady. What you here for today?
Put that foot down. Let me get the other foot.
And so the sheriff made sure they videotaped all of this and put it up on and gave it to the media and put it on all their social sites.
Well, good, too, so they can't say that he roughed them up or anything like that, you know?
Probably. You're right.
Well, and the quote he said before he sent that out is amazing. He said, for those little bastards that think go backwards. It's hard for me to read it on my thing, on my glasses. Right there. Read
For
that
those
right there.
little bastards out there who think this is funny, you want to get on social media? You ain't that smart. You're going to get caught.
That's from the sheriff.
Yeah, that's from the sheriff.
What is he going to get charged with?
They'll probably try to bump him up. I don't know if you can bump an 11-year-old up, but they're going to scare the hell out of him.
I don't know if 11 can be bumped up to charge as an adult, but they're certainly going to try to. I'm sure there's a statute, Seth, in Florida about making threats to schools that has some significant punishments.
So look what they do to them. This isn't usually when you're 11. They have you sit down on a chair. Maybe they usually don't even handcuff you.
Juvie house, right?
They give you a juice box and some chips.
Yeah, and they call your parents, and the parents come and pick you up. And, maybe you got to start talking to a juvenile guy. Maybe you're on probation, but it's not that big a deal. Look at this. This is Russia-like, and I love it. Check this out.
Have a seat in the cell. We're going to gather up some paperwork and
leg shackles.
Get things started.
Are they going to charge his parents?
Any questions?
Might. That's where you start. That's the deterrent. Is when you start charging the parents.
You're right about that, Bubba, and that's why those parents that were finally convicted.
What we're going to start doing Monday is, since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid.
Oh, my God.
So that everybody can see what your kid's up to.
Yeah, boom.
Where'd this guy come from?
Sheriff Dan.
I love
Came
him.
from heaven. That's where he came from. He came from heaven.
I'll perp walk your kid.
I'll perp walk your kid. Sounds like a Grady Judd gimmick, does it not?
That's how you stop school shootings. Is hold the parents responsible.
Exactly.
I had a samurai sword. What the hell?
I know. Seth and I are going to take a little bit of a break. I would say that the podcast will be up by 1 today. Clem Kush, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes.
Go listen to the Uncensored show from yesterday.
Yeah. BubbaArmyHQ.com. Jay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me finish.
You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
me, Bubba the Love Sponge,
co-host and show historian, Lummit.
I'm just straight for the slate markings. Number 2, take 2. Seth Kushner describes what he does here at the BRN, and action.
Seth Money is zesty co-host and president of podcasting.
That's it? That's how you want it?
Do I need more?
Good evening.
Co-host Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire of Council.
Co-host J. Diaco, Esquire, the Spitting Cobra of Council.
Rhett, the Filthy Ginger video editor.
Yeah, back here wiring up. It's Mini Macho.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up B.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
We must dissuade him of this delusion.
Until next time, always remember.
I'll repeat hello.